Good morning, everybody. Are you ready for the election? You are joining Beaver Politics, and welcome to the Election Connection. Let's say thank you to those beautiful, talented friends of ours that went all night, 6 hours. Holy freaking crap. They are dedicated. They are dedicated to letting Ontario know what time it is and to get out and plan and prepare to vote. So I'm here for 6 a.m. and I'm going to do 3 hours with everyone. Thank you for joining us at Beaver Politics. We appreciate everybody. And we are here today for the Election Connection. So come on in, grab a seat. I will work on getting this shared out, having some conversations. I'll work on getting some likes, and then I'm going to open up the boxes to some conversations. If you don't know much about Beaver Politics has something that was created with some big hearts and some creators on TikTok, Canadian creators. We felt a need to be able to start having serious conversations with people together and sharing information out there. And we have big hearts and we love Canada. So we wanted to come together and we identified TikTokers from across Canada that we felt brought a lot to the table. The first thing we identified was they brought honesty to the table, right? Are these honest TikTokers that are bringing the news, the information out there? And, we started putting it out there and then they started coming to us. And so here we are. We're a small little group, on all different parts of Canada, Eastern Canada, Western Canada. We're all over the place. And we're here to inspire you all to vote today. And some people will ask me, why is it so important to you, Miss Radical? You live in BC. You guys just had your vote. Well, for a few different reasons. I'm thinking a lot about autism and special needs in BC. In BC and how it looked here, how it looked in Alberta, how it looked in Ontario. My son is profoundly autistic. And I've been a part of this world in autism for 25 years. And I had the privilege of teaching children with a variety of needs in Alberta. And it was one of the best experiences I ever had. And one of the things that I think about a lot in Ontario right now is what Doug Ford is doing to the weakest of the weak in Ontario. And it's not just these young people with autism. It's across the board. It's like his government sat down and said, if we want to hurt Ontario and the people of Ontario, what could we do to hurt people and piss them off? What could we do to break Ontario? And they made a list and they went down that list and they were getting rid of things like the progressive move said in the last part. It could be as simple as anesthesia, or it could be housing for people, or it could be school for people, or it could be valuable medication for people. Doug Ford attacked this at every single level. At the same time, gaslighting the people of Ontario with giving his team raises. And he's eating steak, and you're looking at that belly of Doug's getting a little bigger every time as he pulls into snow piles with a frickin' plastic Walmart, little shovel with a bucket that you get in the summer for the sand, pretending that he's going to help the people of Ontario. I swear he drives around with that thing. Doug is not safe for Ontario. And we're in a space right now in Canada where we have to inspire each other to get out and vote. Not because we don't want to, and not because the people of Ontario don't care, even though I probably said that because I'm frustrated. It's because we need to push forward. We need to push each other, help support each other, build each other up. If you have a car, call your friends, call your neighbors, ask who has or who needs a ride. Make it a day, go for coffee, right? You guys can do this. You guys can get out there and you can say no more. No more, Dougie. We're done. We're done, Dougie. Right? And it can work. A lot of people don't see the power in being involved with government. And in some ways I understand that. But I can tell you that my experience has been told me something different. Told me, and I guess you have to be working with the right governments to be fair. But my experience of working with groups of people and getting together, and if you have the right people at the table, the projects you can do will take you to the moon and back. To the moon and back. Oh, listen to this. Just finished a 12-hour shift and going straight to vote. Oh my goodness, you have my heart. Thank you so much. Somebody says, do you really think our votes matter? It feels like it doesn't. I want a federal election now. Well, I mean, lots of people say they don't feel like their votes matter. I feel like it does. I feel like it does. We've went out and we voted. Just voting just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean it doesn't matter. We get a kick in the gut because it's our team and it's what we want, but we don't always get what we want, right? But voting does work if you can get out there and do it. And this is, in my opinion, in Canada, one of the most important provincial elections across Canada. One of the most. Ontario flipped, and Ontario has seen the pain. Ontario has felt the pain, and enough of it. How long are we willing to say that it's okay that people don't get to eat and people don't get to be housed? We all work so hard and we put so much in to our taxes, into what we're doing in our lives. We need to have housing for everybody, and there's no reason we can't do it. And the only provinces that are failing are provinces that aren't even trying. And I submit to you that Doug Ford is one of those provinces. Who am I voting for? I'm swinging between, so I will tell you that when we first in federally, if we're talking about a federal election, because I'm not from Ontario, I'm from BC, I usually lean a little bit more to the left. I will vote Liberal, but in the federal election, I was thinking I was going to vote at first NDP for Jagmeet Singh, and then I kind of taken a change of heart. I really like what Mark Carney's bringing to the table. If they had brought somebody else, or it just had been Freeland, I wouldn't have voted Liberal. I would not have had anything to do with Liberal. But Mark Carney is so unique, right? If he was good enough for the Conservatives, he's good enough for the Liberals. He's good enough for Canada. If he's good enough, across the pond, then he's good enough for us here. So yeah, I am definitely thinking about Mark Carney right now. He's screaming loud. Somebody said, oh, always conservative, always conservative. And you can take that road. I'm not kind of that simple. I kind of find myself a little unique. I used to be a conservative voter when I think I knew everything. When I thought the world revolved around me and it was all about my thoughts and feelings and it didn't affect me, I was absolutely all conservative all the time. And I would have said the same thing. But I've learned to understand that things happen in Canada and things happen to people that are out of their control. Health issues, financial issues, things come up. And I think that's why it's important to look at all of these sides. NDP is for the worker. Always for the worker. Liberals, they are a little bit more conservative, but they do kind of lean to the left and help support people. I like Mark Carney that he is about the money. Oh, hi. You want in? Sorry. Good morning. I thought you were going to bed.
I'm gonna go to bed soon. I promise. Promise. will. I was just updating numbers and stuff like that, and I put the schedule in the mod chat.
Thank you.
For I put it with all the times, so
Poor
there's no
Charity.
confusion.
She's our amazing tech person, and she's got to kind of wrangle us all in, like, kitties.
Otherwise, otherwise, you know what happens, right? You get the paddle. You get
The
the paddle.
paddle. They'll slap and
If you're
tickle. Yeah, pretty.
not doing the things, you get the paddlings. Um, this is how you know I'm fucking tired.
You're so tired.
Oh my god, I am tired. I was doing driving around before this too, right? So for
You're
like four
amazing. You
hours.
and Frontline are amazing. I was like, wow. I had it on all night sitting
Yeah.
beside me, but I did fall asleep a couple
Well,
times.
I went up on her panel at the end, right? And and then she went a little bit over. So I was still in there for that, and then I'm like, "Hey, I'm leaving because I want to go start." But yeah, we're getting lots of views. Lots of
That's
people are coming in.
fantastic.
It's
That's
amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, you
This
guys
is
are
the
great.
part. This is the part about inspiring change, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And everybody that's in here, make sure you invite your Ontario friends. Invite your Ontario friends in here. If they need a reminder, if 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 they need a reminder, I will remind them. Mistress
Nerdy
Trash
will
Panda
comply.
merch available on Mistress Trash Panda or TikTok.
Yeah. She's building our merge store soon.
I am. I will be. Yes. Once I finish off a couple of other things, and we're focusing on that solely.
We
Um,
too will have paddles.
we maybe beaver paddles. What?
Can you imagine?
So you love the paddle? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Pastel's been
totally
around
you.
since the inception of the paddle. So, uh, I think Pastel might have been in the live when I was creating it. So,
Oh,
uh,
really?
oh yeah, I was live while I was like, oh my god, guys, you have to see this. Oh my god, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was great. But yeah, no, I just wanted to come up here and be like, hey, hi. There was something you were saying, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it sparked something in me, and I don't have my notebook with me because I just put it away.
I
Um,
was talking about Ontario and how he was cutting all of those funding, all of the funding for special needs and disabilities, and
Yeah. I mean, I said this in Frontlines Live, and I said this in mine as well. Like, this is the problem with conservatives, is that they tend to make problems where they make mountains out of molehills, right? They make problems where there are no problems. So when you look at like communities like marginalized communities, they'll make it look like there's a bigger deal going on with them. So it kind of ostracizes them even more, and makes them seem like a problem when they're really not. But then at the same time, that while they're pointing the finger at these problems, they're going and like creating actual problems that they have no intention of fixing because they want them to get bad so that they can fix it with
yeah, well,
taxation.
it's almost like they put up they had a meeting and they said, what could devastate a group of people? What could make a people just kind of mad? What could, how do we gaslight these people? And just, made this list, right? Because it's just he hasn't really done anything to help anyone in Ontario. The only people in Ontario that are thriving, this isn't a right or a left thing. This is a rich versus poor thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
he's feeding his rich friends. His daughter's doing GoFundMe's. Like it's just it feels like Hunger Games.
I love this. Justice for Ruby Dahlia, who like broke rules. Broke rules. That's why she was not allowed in there, because she literally broke rules. Because guess what? Here's the thing. The Liberal Party actually holds people accountable. Not like the
Hmm.
Conservative Party. They don't hold anybody accountable. Republicans and conservatives don't hold themselves accountable. They will let people get away with shit, or they'll just move them somewhere else. Kind of like what happens in the church, right? They just move them to another place.
Another area, yeah, a
Yeah, they
diocese.
just move them around. Oh, you know what? You've been found out as as health minister, let's move you to like infrastructure minister instead, right? Like that's what they do. It's ridiculous. Anyway,
It's like Danielle Smith's new, new resign, the guy that resigned, right? I mean,
yeah.
that government, the UCP, was involved all the way along in the shifty and shady things they're doing. He was just probably the first one to fall. Maybe he didn't donate enough to her this year, or, she just promised him a sweet spot somewhere else down the road. I mean, she's trying to make Allison Redford look good. Come on.
That's funny. And Alison
Well,
Redford was terrible. Oh my god.
he had
It
to be run
honestly
out
it
of
makes us want
town.
Jason Kenney back. It really does. We're like, where's
Oh, I
Jason
know.
Kenney?
And he said that too. He said that when he left. He said, "You guys, you guys think I'm bad? You just opened the door to batshit crazy."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm going to tell you the truth. When I was in Alberta during COVID, I wasn't happy and I was kind of stirring to make a change. But when I heard Danielle Smith on QR 77 and she backed Trump and said that everybody needs a UV light and some sanitizer and that was going to cure everything,
Yeah.
I was like, radical, call the movers.
I think I was too into American politics that I didn't see like everything that she did during that because I was constantly like it was just such he is and was such a train wreck.
Yeah.
Like it's like every day there's something new. And it's the same thing that's happening right now, right? Like every day now there's multiple things new. And that's wild because like they have all these things that they're doing and they're putting it right out there for you to see and everything. But then you're not seeing all the other stuff that they're doing behind the scenes, which is the really nefarious shit.
Like when she introduced the house spending account and she was like, yeah, we'll like put maybe $300, $800 in somebody's account and, then they can see the account themselves. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that's one visit to the doctor. That's one visit and some blood work to the doctor, and you're done your health funding account. And most people can't see their own accounts. Never mind
You
the
can
health
tell
spending
Alberta's
account.
waking up, by the way, because you're getting all the maple MAGA come in here.
Yeah, I kind of figured we were gonna get that, to tell you the truth. Just through our advertising, they're gonna know we're here. And
Yeah,
we said the dreaded DS words, right? Should we switch to
absolutely.
Marlena? The war room's up and going today, and they do so well over there. They're so busy.
Um,
Everybody give them a shout, the war room. So proud
I
of them.
just two quick like offshoot things that aren't
Yeah.
really political, but just things that happened. Gene
Mhm.
Hackman died.
Get out!
Gene Hackman and his wife were found dead in their house, unalived in their house today. Um,
No.
yeah, yes. Let me find. I'm gonna see if I have. I'm pretty sure I have ground news on
Gene
this.
Hackman. What's up with
Yeah,
him?
Lex Luthor.
I know, but he wasn't like a real life bad guy though. I thought he was like a pretty decent guy. I mean, Gene
Ground news.
Hackman.
Oscar winning. Yeah, my mom was saying that they just watched. Oh crap! It was a something jury. Um. Anyway, they just watched it earlier with him.
And that is not the way I would have expected anybody to tell me about
No,
Gene.
nothing nefarious, Pastel. They said
Wow.
they don't think it was foul play.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so sad. It's so
Very
sad.
sad.
And then Michelle Trachtenberg yesterday too
Oh, she was
from
from Buffy,
Buffy.
right?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
the and they're doing a Buffy revival. Like they're gonna be redoing, like bringing it back. So like Dawn's not even gonna be in it now. That's like
No, my
what?
daughter was super bummed. We were both super bummed
So I'm just waiting
about
for the
that.
next one to happen now, because you know what happens in threes.
She
Um,
had liver disease. She was recovering from a transplant,
mm,
I think.
yeah, they said it was
Um,
probably natural causes for her. So,
yeah, it was very
the
sad.
other thing that I wanted to say that I found in here, if I can find it on this one, it came up on my phone. Actually, it's on my phone here. I'll just, because you'll still be able to hear me. Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have left Romania for the U.S.
Oh, that must be those $5 million gold cards, but I'm sure Trump will let them in for free.
Andrew fucking
Yeah.
Tate.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, Americans, those protest votes. How's that working for you, Americans?
Right?
Like that's
Crazy.
just amazing to me.
Andrew Tate and his brother. Where is it? On a private flight earlier on
Okay.
Thursday. Ew.
It was probably the same person that sent the jet for Tamara Leach.
So they still haven't had their trial yet, hey? But the Romanian authorities lifted the travel ban imposed on them, allowing them to travel outside of Romania. Reports
Yeah.
indicate that the Tates are also facing allegations in the United Kingdom, where they may be extradited after the Romanian case concludes.
They'll be covered
Wild.
and shielded here probably for the next
Yeah.
4 years by Trump.
I am still
He had
here.
like trafficking charges, human trafficking charges, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Scary shit, man.
Trafficking and money laundering, which they deny, even though there's video evidence of it.
Yeah.
Um, Micah, yes, I'm still going, but I'm gonna go to bed soon. I'm tired. You can tell my eyes. I'm so tired.
I'm gonna let PG up.
Making so much noise.
PG.
You can never.
Listen,
Okay, there we go.
listen. Viktor Orban went to hide in Mar-a-Lago when Cheeto Man was not in power. So I guess Andrew Tate's gonna have a fucking fun time at Mar-a-Lago now. So
Right,
Oh, he'll get a plush spot. The bro boys love him.
yeah.
right.
So I put my chip on Mar-a-Lago for that asteroid to hit, that city-sized asteroid that's coming in a couple of years.
Isn't it the one that has like 0.4 chance now of hitting us?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I put my request in to hit that specific spot. So hopefully, hopefully that'll work.
I feel like we're in the movie Don't Look Up right now.
Mhm. And I heard about that. I was like, yeah, same thing. That's
Right?
exactly what I was thinking.
It kind of explains the chaos of the political cycle and the chaos of the rich, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
they always want to take care of themselves before anything else.
it's absolute idiocracy that we're seeing right now. And then we have people in the comments saying Doug Ford's going to win a landslide. Hope not, but
Even the aggregate polls don't show a landslide. Come on.
I would like to see. Well, I think we can't avoid him coming in, but I would like to see at least being held to a minority and being held accountable for something for once.
I hope they're wrong, but I kind of wonder if that things have already been decided whether we like it or not.
I don't know. I think in a sense, like, uh, there's massive push. We keep talking about it, and there's a massive push, right? And for voter apathy, and that's been the main driver of the erosion of our rights, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Hey, 39 people in here. It's really great that we're at 6.1k likes. Can we
Mhm.
please get us up to 10k likes? Let's do some really quick finger tapping. Tap tap power tap power tap 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 power tap. And get us up to 10k likes, please. And also, the shares are at 73 right now. Can I get those shares to 100? Let's get those shares to 100. If you don't have any, okay, so hold your on Mrs. Radical's nose. Okay, put your finger right on her nose. Hold it down there. Okay, boop that snoot, but hold it down there, and the screen's gonna pop up. Okay, and then you can go send, 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 send. Even if you're conservative, send it to your friends. She might want to talk to you. I did do the auction over in my live. When we had my live, I did the auction. I
Oh, I
did.
think I forgot to even press the gifts.
I reset it to one thing, but you can
Okay.
fix it. You can change it to whatever you want.
Where do I hit
I
it?
would change it actually because it's the two lipstick things. So I would change it. So just click on it, like touch it.
Which one am I touching again?
Not the star, but the one
Oh,
when it rotates to the one that looks like a little stamp. It's a little. So where the star is at the top,
uh-huh.
okay, and it's rotating and it's got like a little stamp thing there
Yeah,
too.
okay, there it is. Okay.
Okay, touch the stamp,
Okay.
and then you can change the gift to something else. Either the roses or the tiny dinies or the. No, you just pinned. You
I know, I'm
pinned the
trying
gift.
to. So now I'm in and it says your live goal, unpin. How do I unpin? Now I've unpinned it.
Okay, so you want to edit.
Okay, I'll go back in. There we go. It moves fast. See what she has to deal with, everyone?
Live goal. Send galaxies, everybody.
It's
Send live. Yippee-yi-yay, motherfucker!
hey, I have a good one. Conservative people.
Uh-oh.
If you don't want to see this face anymore right now, send a galaxy and I will go to bed.
Ah! It does it. Oh, yeah, there we are. It does give me an edit option. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I want to add a gift. So I am going to add a galaxy.
Can I let Moose up?
Of course.
For Gene Hackman, is it too soon to say that they only wanted the dog, but they've seen John Wick and they didn't want to take any chances?
Okay, I have a question. Is that a John Wick joke?
Yeah, didn't
Okay,
land.
I haven't
It
seen
didn't
John
land.
Wick. People have told me I should not see it because I don't like anything to do with animals getting hurt.
Oh,
So
well,
it
okay.
will devastate me. So people have told me not to watch it.
Okay, well, if the joke gets any better, you heard it here first.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, nobody is sending a galaxy to make me
Come
go to
on.
bed.
So disappointing. Get
No,
her
you
to
said it
bed,
to two. You said
friend.
it to 4 of those stamps. Get rid of the stamp.
I did?
Mm-hmm.
I got
I
galaxy
had it as 2 of them. You
perfume.
said it to 4 of them.
I got
Okay, go back in
galaxy.
and edit.
I'm in and I'm editing. Edit your goal. And then
Touch the stamp.
Yeah, don't send any galaxies. Other people have to send galaxies.
Okay, and now you can choose your other gift.
what am I choosing? Bubblegum.
I can just close my eyes for 15 seconds of the movie. Do they do flashbacks?
Which movie?
John Wick.
Oh, I never saw it.
You guys never saw
Are
it?
you good? Did you figure it out?
Oh, there's a lot of background there. We do need to
No, you
get
need
Doug
6.
Ford
You
out.
put 6 stamps now.
Is that bad? Is that too
Well,
many?
nobody's. They're 99 cents each.
Oh. I just
Yeah,
wanted
that's why
people
I
to
said
have
pick a 10-cent one
options.
or something.
Good
Pick a
morning,
10-cent one.
everyone, and good
No, now you
morning,
pinned it.
Ontario.
No,
Just a
oh, you have
reminder,
perfume.
Morning, Moose.
voting day, get
Hi,
your
Moose.
coffee in you, get moving, and
Wait.
go and get the vote out.
Gift is not available. Oh, you picked perfume and bubblegum. Somebody send the bubblegum.
Bubblegum. Does it do a big bubble?
Wait. It does it on your mouth.
Ooh.
Yeah, hang on. Thank you, Michelle, for sending the perfumes.
Ooh, thank you for the gift.
Michelle finished your perfume.
Thank you for the
Cool.
perfume. First thing needed.
Michelle is one of my trivia people.
Hi, Michelle. How are you? Welcome to Beaver
Oh, look.
Politics.
There you go. There's your bubblegum.
Boo!
Yeah.
Thank you, Rod Mike. I
Bubblicious,
appreciate
baby.
it.
Bubblicious.
Thank you.
I love it.
That's awesome. And we appreciate all your gifts at the Beaver Dam. We use that money to grow Beaver politics. So that might mean tech, it might be working on a conference to create community and bring us all together. We've got a lot of really good ideas and I'm super stoked about it. So thanks for your support. And we are going 24 hours. So we started last night with Moose. on the Mossy side, and we have been going straight through. So we had Moose, we had Pixie Lee, we had Frontline, we had Charity, and now it's me, and I think Jenna's coming up right after me. So we're
Jenna
gonna
is
have a
up
good
next.
day.
Yes.
We're trying to inspire change.
We had 10K.
Get
Whoop,
out!
whoop,
Shut the
whoop,
front door.
Yeah, let's hit. Okay, 100 shares, guys. 100 shares. There's 30 people in here right now. If every single person in here shares it once, we will get to 100. We'll get to 110, 113 actually. Okay, 113. Everybody share. If you don't have friends to share it to, hit that little arrow that's right there and copy link. Okay, you don't. Mike just shared it to me.
Well done. I do that sometimes too. I share to you when you're on the live.
I know. Everybody shares Mistress Trash Panda to Mistress Trash Panda.
I've done it to Smarsh too. She's like, I'm on your live. Oh,
Yeah.
hi.
That's so funny. I know, I do the same thing all the time.
Mhm.
All right. Oh, look at that. Look at that. 120. See? Nerdy asks and nerdy receives.
I love that.
You
Good
get give to
attitude.
charity. Give to charity. Okay, I should have used that during my freaking live. Give to charity. It was so good seeing me. I know, right? I know. That was, guys, I'm not going to lie. I talked about this a little bit in my other live, okay? I know I'm kind of derailing your live.
No,
right
that's
now.
okay. That's okay. Don't even worry.
But you want to have a chill one anyway, right? You don't want to talk about all the crazy stuff all the time. Okay, cool. So, guys, I got to go on a huge creators panel yesterday. Like a huge Mishi's panel. I was in Mishi's panel, and I was in there with Mr. Jones and Thomas Bishop, and then Shay and Val and Attacking were in there too. And I follow all of those people, okay? It was so wild. You don't know how I'm still cheery. I am running on like fumes right now. Fumes. Once I take my meds to go to bed, I will be out like a light. Like a light. I'm downloading 4 lives right now on my tablet so I can move them over onto my computer and clip them later on. So, yeah, but oh my god, I was so nervous. But one of my friends reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, there's a Canadian in here talking about Alberta. You should get in here and address it." And I was like, "Done." So I requested right away, and I sent a comment, and I messaged Val, and I was like, "Hey, I'm in her province." So they let me up, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And it's the first time I ever requested to go on Mishi's live. But yeah, I got to tell off a convoy supporter.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah. She was terrible. But every single one of the facts that I said were verified by people on the panel. So there you go. And then after she left, because I stayed on, all the other Canadians that came up left, but I stayed on just in case she decided to start talking about Canada again. And at the end, yeah, I got to have a nice little conversation with Lisa, and I said some nice things about our prime minister, and she said some nice things about our hockey team. Yeah. It was great. It was so fun, and I wish if anybody screen recorded it, send it to me. Okay, I'm on Discord. Send it to me on Discord.
Are you talking about Purple Hair Lisa? Because Purple Hair Lisa is not a convoy.
No,
Lisa Bartlett or Lisa Barnett or something like that.
Okay, I was just.
She's like 144,000 followers or something like that. I don't know. She was terrible. Lisa Convoy left when Mr. I know. Did you see that? As soon as Joan started talking, then she left.
Yeah.
It was funny.
It was good to see Mr. Bishop there.
I like Thomas.
I love Thomas Bishop.
Great.
And
I was being the typical Canadian, waiting until everybody else spoke.
Right?
And staying quiet. I was being polite. Not that I didn't want to say stuff. I was yelling at my phone when my mic was off.
You did a good job. You spoke really well. And maybe that's good that you had a little time to kind of have that time to get your feelings together.
Just
and
chill out. I was cleaning cat litter while I was waiting and chilling out. So.
I missed it.
It was in the middle of the day. I didn't expect
Thank you for the friendship. necklace. I
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
the
Thank you,
gifts.
Michelle. Oh my god, the gifting in my live last night in Mr.'s Trash Panda was wild.
That is
It was
excellent.
wild. I got 2 galaxies and like 6 of the cowboy hats, and then a whole buttload of tiny dinies. It was. How many did I have total? 80. At least 80 tiny dinies.
No, listen, you were awesome. I was just like, oh my God, what is she doing here? When I saw you.
I was thinking the same thing.
That was
Oh my
amazing.
god. Thank you.
Because
Thanks.
I
A lot of
follow
a bunch of
Mishy
people
and
reached
Mr.
out.
Jones and everybody, and Attacking the Ignorance was on the panel, and I was like, it was like an all-star like panel, and they had like, I think they had like 3K people like watching.
It was at 2.7 when I took a screenshot.
I
Oh
couldn't
yeah,
even keep up with the chat. It was moving
yeah,
so
It was
fast.
it
the
was going
biggest
so
panel I
fast.
have ever been on in my life. My
Oh my God, I'm
TikTok
so
life.
proud of you. I'm just so proud of my
Thank you.
Canadian friend.
Thank you.
You did great.
Yeah, no, it was wild. It was great. I freaking loved it. I freaking loved it. But yeah, 2.7K people, and
So you were talking about Mark, I forgot his last name.
Mark Carney.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
is he like Justin Trudeau or on the same party as him?
He's liberal. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like the Liberal Party. He's most likely going to be the Liberal Party leader, which would be Justin's, like, that's Justin Trudeau's position, Liberal
Okay.
Party leader and prime minister kind of thing. So when he wins, when he wins the leadership, then he will be our new prime minister, and then between now and October, like between then and October, then we will have a federal election.
Okay.
And they're
And
friends. They're friends. They know each other and they run in
And
the
then
same circle.
who's the other guy Perdo or no
Pierre Polyev.
what is his name?
PP.
Pierre
PP.
Polyev.
Pierre, that's right. Because my friend I have a very, very good friend that I've known for a couple of years, and she met me on TikTok on Johnny Depp group page, and she's from
Was this when the trial was
Saskatchewan. She's from
Was it when the trial was happening?
Saskatchewan. Yeah,
That's
it's
funny.
when the trial was happening. We became friends. So she's from Saskatchewan, Moose Jaw, and she's so proud of herself for being banned from I guess Elon Musk on X and PP.
That's amazing.
She hates him, and she said that she's on the same page as all of you. So
Elon Musk
Yeah.
loves me. I just want to tell you, he loves me. He follows
Oh,
me
God.
all the time. I get messages from him. He
Well,
is
I
the
keep
biggest
telling
fangirl
people.
I've ever had.
I keep telling
Thank you.
people that during the Johnny Depp they were talking about Elon had like surgery or modifications to his pee-pee. And I keep saying that came from the Johnny Depp trial when in his text he said it was in the trial that he said Mullis crooked dick. That's he fucking mentioned Mullis member that way. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I knew about that a long time ago.
Wow.
Thank you, Johnny Depp.
Well, if you had some modifications done, isn't that gender affirming care?
100% it is. It's
So-
totally gender affirming care.
And the hair plugs and the jawline. And I just want to point out that there's somebody in here in the comments, something native beauty. Hey, as an indigenous person, voting blue is going totally against your best interest. Just gonna put that out there. I don't understand that mindset. I do not understand when I see indigenous people voting conservative. Like, and a shameless plug for me, I guess, for my slogan is defund the CPC, axe the quacks. Let's get rid of this guy.
I love that. Let's
Oh my
get
god,
rid
you
of
said
him.
Axe the Quacks, and I got Affleck in my head.
We can come up with slogans too. Axe the quacks.
Yes. Honestly, so when we were trying to think of like all of our different names for our different shows and stuff like that, I kept on telling everybody, I'm like, it has to be quippy. It has to be quippy, like X the text, build the hoses, all that kind of stuff, right? Like we have to make it quippy. So I'm like I'm like, do we think we should do that? Maybe we should try something like this instead.
Yeah, I also love the fake outrage.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
an echo?
Isn't taking Viagra gender affirming care?
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah.
100%.
So there's a fake outrage down here. How's the clean water going? You know, the Liberals have delivered on over 85% of their promises to Indigenous people, right? And the clean water, the Liberal Party has closed more boil water advisories than any other party, and the Conservatives would completely ignore the Indigenous peoples, so that your fake outrage means nothing, right?
Yeah.
I have numbers on that, by the way, because I have this tab. I have this site saved, and it is a Government of Canada. It's the Indigenous Services Canada, Water and First Nations Communities, and it was last updated on February 8th, so it's a couple weeks behind. But 147 long-term drinking water advisories lifted since November of 2015. And there's still 33 advisors in effect and 31 communities. And then they actually have this thing where they like break it down to like those other ones that haven't been done. 9% of them are the project to address advisory is complete and the lift is pending. So 9% of them are still actually completed. They just have to be evaluated and audited, right? Then you have 7% of them. They project to address advisory under construction. 1% project to address advisory is in design phase. And then the last percent is feasible study being conducted to address the advisory. So they've only got 1% that they haven't even like really, they're just delving into.
Yeah. I just want to mention to Atomic Kittens that I've said nothing regarding any of your comments. So I don't know. Like,
Oh, good.
Well, I'm going to drop down. I just wanted to say hello. And I'm from Michigan, so we're real close.
Thanks. Good to see you,
Oh,
our
that's the
American
mitt.
friend.
Okay.
Michigan's the mitt, right?
Yes. The
Yes.
mitten. Okay. Thank you so much for having me up. Love your
Thanks.
show. Okay.
Nobody sent Nerdy a galaxy yet. She's not going to go to bed. How can you guys do this to her? She's ready.
Conservatives, hello, conservatives. You're the ones with all the money right now, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're the ones who got all the money paid into you to spread your rhetoric. I want a galaxy so I can go to bed.
She's ready for
Not
it.
even to me. Send it to Beaver Politics.
yeah, not me.
Beaver
either.
Politics or anybody on the panel.
Moose.
Give them a galaxy and I will go to bed. Hi, pumpkin spice latte, the only pumpkin spice latte I like.
I will address Atomic Kittens now. You're right. None of the parties are doing enough, but one party, the Conservatives, are actively working against the Indigenous people.
Working against Canadians entirely. They're working against Indigenous people 100%, but it's like a gaslight entirely to Canadians. I can't think of a good conservative that I could pick, elect, and stand behind and think that Canada and the place I know would still be the same.
Yep, absolutely. And I just want to point out too, for people that haven't paid attention to the platforms or promises, the Green Party in Ontario actually mentions bringing the Indigenous voices to the table in terms of dealing with Indigenous issues. The NDP do mention, the word Indigenous shows up once in their platform. And it doesn't even mention, bring them to the table, just Indigenous issues in general, right? So there are parties that do take the Indigenous community into account and want to bring them to the table to create change for everyone, specifically Indigenous communities and what they're facing. So just for facts and clarification on that one, guys, just for people's knowledge.
Send a galaxy to Nerdy so she can go to bed. She's ready for bed. She's ready for bed. I never thought I'd sing on TikTok. Nerdy, did you see that video I sent you of us in the car singing?
No.
It's in our chat. I did a little meme from CapCut, and there's all these guys, and they're like singing, and I said, "Oh, there's Nerdy and Pixie Lee and me, and we're all singing." And then the driver is looking at us really funny, and I was like, "Oh,
Which
that's
chat?
TikTok." No, it's not in our mod chat. I think it's in. Whoa! What's that?
What do we get? What do we get? What do we get?
I don't know.
What just happened?
Gum.
Bubblegum.
Bubblegum. Thank you, some dude. We like bubblegum.
If you guys don't have enough to send a galaxy, invite friends who can send a galaxy. Invite friends who send a galaxy. Yeah. I'll even take a dinosaur. Let me see what else we'll take. We'll do a dinosaur, or we can do watermelon love.
Ooh, that
we can
sounds
do
so
watermelon love. Or a dinosaur. Or what else do we have?
What else do we have? You don't have any
Oh no, I have a tiny. Okay, I'll do it.
All right, I know you're tired. I'm actually the one that sent the tiny because I know.
I saw.
So if there's anyone that wants to come up and talk about Doug Ford, or even talk about your voting plans, or how you've changed somebody's mind about voting.
You got the stamp.
Oh, I did get the stamp. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're being so nice, some dude. I love him.
There's the other stamp. Yay!
I'm gonna sit down.
Amazing.
I have a sore back today. Oh, I gotta get my
all the life goals are achieved. Now you can reset your goal.
What's your goal?
And set it to like rosas. One gift. Only one gift. Get rid of the other ones.
I have to now? That's what you were telling me to do?
Well, it makes it easier to focus
okay, so
on
now
one
just
gift
go to
rather than
roses.
have
Okay,
3 gifts.
there we go. Confirm. Done. Done.
Wait.
Thank you,
What did you get?
everyone.
What is it?
What did I get? Oh, I got
You said roses.
I just
You
said
only did
roses.
12 of them. That's easy to hit.
You have to confirm gifts that are coming in.
I don't know if
Oh,
I did.
thank you, Nerdy.
Did I do enough? I want to get rid of it so you can do another one.
Oh. Oh,
Do
geez.
the rosa. The rosa is 10 coins.
The
You do
rosa.
like 20 of them.
Okay.
You have to change the quantity. Don't let it do whatever quantity it says on there. You have to change the quantity.
I can't hear you some reason.
You can't hear me?
Now I can add a gift goal.
Okay. Oh, it's because the thing was still going. Okay, so
Oh,
rosa.
rosa. I see
Rosa. Okay?
Rosa.
And then don't give the quantity that it says. You can change the quantity. You can customize it. And then you can put it to 20.
Oh, okay.
That's what you need to do.
Rosa.
Yeah, Jane, I think that conservatives are terrible for doing stuff like that. They constantly are closing safe injection sites because they think that putting people in hospitals against their will is what they should be doing instead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to get anybody to do anything.
Yeah, just to Jane's point in Sudbury area. So that's actually the area I'm in Northern Ontario. And that's something that we've been fighting with and battling with the government is to get the resources and safe injection sites and stuff that we actually need up here in the north that we haven't seen, right? And we're seeing the clawing back of those sort of resources and places, even down in southern Ontario, where they're taking away safe injection sites and making it harder for people to really be safe with the stuff that they have to, they have to battle.
Well, and housing wants to see happen in Ontario what happened in Nova Scotia in their writing. So great job. You're saving 1% on your tax rate, which is your provincial sales tax. So you're going to save 1%. And they've taken away the toll fees. So anything that actually brings in revenue for your province has been taken away, which means that the property taxes are going to have to go up. But you probably don't care about that because you rent.
I'm really struggling right now with how they're treating the unhoused, and that we have so many unhoused, and that is somehow a political win, is to make people unhoused, and then to throw, pot shots like go get a job and stuff like that. I don't think people realize that, and I say this with a little bit of experience because I work in the unhoused community, but what I don't think people realize is a lot of those people want jobs. They can't get jobs. You're not going to get jobs when you live in a tent. People don't call you and offer you jobs when you don't have an address. You have to leave that tent and all of your belongings to go to that job. You have to be showered, you have to be clean. A lot of people can't keep their stuff. They walk away from their tent for 5 minutes and somebody's stolen it. And it's just it's a terrible way to treat Canadians. There's absolutely no reason why we should have an unhoused community in Canada. We have so many buildings that are empty, and we have so many ways we can take care of and support people. And if those people got supports, they would be functioning in society at a decent level. They just need supports. So tapping is clapping and sharing is caring. Thanks.
Absolutely. And just to, equate back to Ontario a bit more again, this is where we've seen Doug Ford meeting with mayors that favor him and favor the same type of policy. And they've been clawing away at the unhoused rights in terms of sweeping powers to get rid of encampments and essentially throw them in jail because they're loitering, when no, they're actually just trying to survive and have somewhere they can call home, even if it is a tent, even if it is, a piece of fabric. It's still a roof over their head and something that's theirs. And essentially, the Ontario government's been working on just taking away people's property and really what little they have at this point. And just for clarification as well, we're currently over 88,000 unhoused in Ontario, and that does not include people that would be considered like couch surfing and stuff like that. That's 88,000 sleeping outside on the streets every night. And we just don't have the facilities to be able to give everyone the bed. So that's where there's been pushback from other parties and activist groups where the sweeping powers that they're trying to do towards the unhoused is essentially unconstitutional, because it gets rid of the clause within already established legislation that says like you can't do that if there isn't readily available beds for these people to sleep in. And that would negate that within the legislation, and again would be found constitutional, or unconstitutional, sorry. And so there's pushback from other parties and activist groups. So guys, keep up the good work on pointing out that stuff that the Conservatives have been doing here in Ontario.
Yeah, well, and I mean, they really have focused a lot of their attention on basically an attack on the unhoused. There's a young man in Ontario, I believe he's in Toronto, and he came up with an amazing pilot project that he did himself, where he was basically building these tiny homes. And I don't even really want to call them tiny homes. They were so small, and they attached to like a bike. And it was like a little trailer on a bicycle, and the bicycle could pull the trailer around. And this was a place where an unhoused person could sleep, keep their food, their clothes, everything. And he was building them, and the cost to build them was under 5,000, I believe. And people were doing really well. The city of Toronto told him to get their trailers off their property.
Yep, and we've seen that over time. Even right now, last week there was something in the news here in Ontario for Toronto that there has been a company actually make a bit bigger of trailers or situated housing within a park area for people that are unhoused, so they have warmth at night, a bed to put their a pillow to put their head on, and bare necessities. And the municipality of Toronto has actually pushed back and said that they need to be removed because they're not geared to the zoning, or there's issues with safety concerns, and which is complete bogus, because from what I saw, they actually have like the fire extinguishers, and they had things to make sure that things were as safe as possible for those people, because they want them to be safe as well as comfortable within. So I mean,
Right.
that's just common sense.
Charity?
Yeah, Hosung,
Thank you.
this is your warning right now. You've been okay up until now, but your rhetoric in that last one that I just muted about Jagmeet Singh was totally uncalled for and disgusting and vile. If you do that again, you're muted for the entire live.
And you're spreading misinformation. We know that Pierre Poilievre has the biggest pension.
The numbers that he put up looked more like Pierre Poilievre's pension, actually.
Yeah.
Jagmeet has, if he was to leave politics, he'd have like piddly pension. It'd be like 40,000 a year. It's like, it's not a lot. It's not a lot.
The biggest difference and where the criticisms from the right come is the fact that Singh has actually been a lawyer before he got into politics. So he actually made his own wealth by working hard as a lawyer, as opposed to, like pointed out, Poilievre, who's been a career politician and really has lived off taxpayers his entire career, and will end his career in politics with the highest pension we've ever seen in Canadian history of a politician in the federal.
I always struggle with this conversation in the sense that conservatives will, like, they flip the offense, I guess is the best way to say it. Or it's like a smoke and mirrors game, right? Like, they'll go out and do something, and then they flip the narrative and blame everybody else for the things that they're doing. So for example, I spoke with a friend in Alberta, and this friend of mine told me that just a friend of his works for WestJet, and they fly Justin Trudeau out to an island every weekend, and he spends the weekend on an island partying and doing questionable things. Well, where have you heard that story from? Right? Like, they just take these offensive stories and they flip them around and they throw them on somebody else and try to smear it on their perceived enemy.
Yeah. Also, housing down here has been funny the whole time. So the last comment, maybe this is the last comment I stuck on, said, ha ha ha, defending a multimillionaire is crazy. Housing. You have been bootlicking millionaires the whole time I've been here and seeing your comments. You literally have been bootlicking the Conservative Party that only ever bootlicks billionaires and millionaires. So what are you talking about? When it's somebody you don't like, all of a sudden it's a problem, right? But those guys are not helping you. You will find out. That's fine, but you're the one who's going to find out.
I think you're right.
I have two things. It is now 9:00 out in the east, which means polls or voting is open in Ontario. Ontario voters, make sure you're going out and voting today. That's what today is all about for us. We are making you aware that there is an election today and you need to go out and vote. Secondly, as for blocking people, we have specific guidelines that we go by for blocking people. He's not reaching any of those blocking, like anything to block. I mean, if you just ignore him, honestly, he's just a troll. That's all it is. I was just paying attention to like the really vile things he's saying. In all honesty, his comments, so that are just like ridiculous, are just boosting the live because it's engagement. We also, this is my I don't know, it's what I've been saying like all day. It is, you have to hear what the other side is saying in order to know what rhetoric you have to combat, and what you have to do in order to combat any of them. So you need to hear that, and you need to listen to it and watch it and everything in order to know what to talk about from the other side. So we're not going to mute people from the other side unless they are absolutely belligerent. We're not going to block them from here unless there's like slurs, threats, and like full on like outright disgusting, vile things, right? So again, he's been tame up until that comment, and that's why I got rid of that comment and gave him a warning. If it happens again, he's muted for the entire live. So
Thank
you're
you.
more than willing to, you're more than able, like, if block him from your own account if you don't want to ever see him or encounter him in your own spaces. But
Excellent.
yeah.
And I'm going to take this moment to put out a shameless plug for Beaver Politics. I'm going to put out our show hosts and times and our descriptions. So we are going 7 days a week in the evenings, and then we have some afternoon spots. And if you want to be a Beaver, connect with us. We'd love to hear from you. Mondays, we are in Indigenous Matters, and we're from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And we talk about the effects of politics on Indigenous communities and how the Indigenous people can affect the political structure. What a fantastic, and it's always a really interesting conversation. It's with Treaty Six Birder. She's fascinating. And then we head into Tuesday with Frontline, and it's 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And she is doing news hours talking about the events of the week. Did you want to cut in there, Charity? Okay. I just thought I was missing something.
Laughing at what John Price wrote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we have Wednesday, Progressive Moose. He's up on the panel. He's the Mossy side. Did you want to say anything, Moose?
Sure, yeah. So over on the Mossy side, I do my best to do more of a deep dive. So it's definitely a play on words as to the messy side, of course. But yeah, do more of a deep dive into different issues and things that we're facing as Canadians. The last week I did the Ontario election platforms, debates, got into the nitty gritty, that stuff, the policy, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, stop on by on the Mossy side on Wednesdays, guys, where it's more of a deep dive into the issues and getting down to the nitty gritty.
5 p.m. to 6:30 Pacific Standard Time and 8 p.m. to 9:30 Eastern Time. And then on Thursdays, we have the navigation station, and that's on Thursday afternoons, 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. to 5:30 Eastern Time. And it's on education, resources, solutions to help navigate the Canadian political landscape. It's a fascinating one. And then in the evening, it's Truth Through Discourse, and that's with Frontline and myself. And we're discussing weekly politics and digging in a little deeper on those conversations. On Friday, we have Canadian History with a Purple Crayon. That's in the afternoon with Pixie Lee. And she's talking about, sorry, I should tell you the time, 2 p.m. to 2:30 Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. to 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Canadian History prior to Canada with a focus on the BIPOC perspectives. And then in the evening, we have Poly Talk with Charity. Look at her go.
Well, it's Polititalk, not Polytalk.
I've called it Poly Talk for a
polyamory.
while. Okay, political talk. I gotta fix that. Do you want to
Polititalk.
talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Polititalk. I go up to 6 hours. It's a up to 6 hour debate. We start at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and we go for up to 6 hours. It can be anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, but most of the time we go 6 hours. We go all night long. So you thought it was about polygamy? No, Polititalk.
Sorry.
TALK, but also it could be TOK, like Polititalk on TikTok.
I have dyslexia, just so sometimes weird things come out.
Yeah. So we do debates. That's my debate. That's our debate space. So if you ever want to talk about the issues and you are opposition, I let opposition up. And as long as you are respectful on the panel, you can stay up and you can have a conversation with us. It is a hi Lorazepam. Yeah, so we that's what it is. We do it's panels of debate. We talk about anything and everything, and literally
super interesting and spicy.
I might get a little sassy. I might. You think I'm sassy now? You just watch me on those. Uh, yeah. So we just talk about everything and anything. We usually end up going through at least 5 topics in a night, and it changes so fast and so much. So, thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that.
It's
Thank you.
super popular.
Yes.
And then we go to Saturday with breaking the dam is in the afternoon, and that's with Jenna, and she's has discussions in a safe space following an ongoing mental health through tough times, and learning new coping skills and increasing mental health awareness and fighting the stigmas. And I got to tell you, if you have been in, she's just joined us, and both of the lives that she has done so far are fascinating. It's been 3 so far, right? Yeah, really good, really good. And then in the evening, it's radicalized at 5 p.m. to 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, 8 to 9:30 Eastern Time. The gray matters of politics and how religion is impacting the political atmosphere. And that's Saturday night for you. And then we roll into Sunday, where we've opened up that Sunday spot, and we have Happy. And he is doing a damn happy life. And that is 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And he's looking for a deeper perspective on how to define happiness and exploring the moments of growth throughout their lives. So join us. Join us on Beaver Politics, because we are uniquely Canadian and we have uniquely Canadian perspectives. Nerdy.
And if you want to, if you need a reminder of when all the show times are and everything, they're in the pinned video in our bio. It has all the show times in there, Pacific and Eastern. And then if you want to find out when your favorite host is hosting today, there's also a video in there too that tells you all of the different videos. Did you call him that again? Did he call him that again?
Call him what?
Yeah, I think
Tyler?
we did. I think we did.
Did Hosan call him that again?
I'm just looking.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
I don't know.
He did? I don't see it. He called it earlier and I got rid of it, but I don't see it now.
I see racism in here, but I don't see dog meat yet.
While you're looking, I'm just going to reply to Housing, because she keeps commenting about the right. And when you said, guys, you think you're always right all the time, when the majority of people vote for the right, the opposite is true. The majority of Canada is 70+% left leaning. The problem is that the minority votes for the right and voter apathy kicks in. People are not voting, and so the right is getting in a majority government through a minority vote. The majority of people don't want the right. They just don't vote. This is why we're doing a lot of what we do here, is because we need people to vote. We need people to get out and vote. This whole idea of two wings of the same bird always breeds apathy. And it creates a situation where you can say comments like this, but in reality, Doug Ford was elected on 18% of the people who were eligible to vote last time. That is not a majority of the people.
Absolutely. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm okay. I wanted to also make a comment because there was a few comments by the housing guy, Jugmeat, when in his own writing. A lot of that has to do with systemic racism that is in Canada. The guy is amazing. Yes, he backed Trudeau when it came to the trucker riots and stuff, but if it wasn't for him, there were a lot of things that went through Parliament that benefited the people wouldn't have gone through. And if we were in a dictatorship, people wouldn't be allowed to fly fuck Trudeau flags.
Right? I mean, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things.
Remember when Stephen Harper handed out fines for flying "fuck Harper" flags?
Yeah.
Yep.
There was
Yeah,
a
so
man in Alberta that got very heavily fined because he decorated his car in F. Harper.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah,
It wasn't a protest, it was an occupation.
it was an occupation.
I was going to say, I find it really funny how they think it can be that we live in a communist country, but we can also have a dictator at the same time.
Yeah.
Also, the first dictator in history to resign. Thank you, Helen. You're right.
Right?
The very
Right.
first. But Jack Mead and the NDP, as a let's put it as a third place team for people to understand, got everything they promised their people. Right, everything that the NDP people voted for, that's what they got. And that's because PP decided to not participate in government activity, and he decided to go campaigning for his entire time that he was there.
100%. 100%. And the conservatives have really found a win in these pop-up elections, month-long elections. Tim did fantastic in Ontario. Perfect time to distract people. They were busy, or in, sorry, I said Ontario. I meant to say Nova Scotia. And he got in there no problem at all. So that's exactly why Doug Ford is. Tap the screen, Nerdy says. Tapping is capping. Tap, 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 tap. Let's get it up to 50K. That would be most excellent.
Hey, housing. Maybe you should look at what a dictatorship is and see what Project 2025 does and where Donald Trump sits right now. Maybe if you understood what dictatorship means, you would understand what is going on down south right now.
And honestly, I'm scared for Canada if Polyev gets in, because the fact, like, I'm a trans man, and already I am not allowed to travel to the States. I will be denied at the border because the fact that my gender markers are changed.
That's got to be pretty terrifying, hey?
Absolutely, especially because Polyev has taken Elon Musk's and Trump's endorsement and has also come out fully and stated that he only believes that there's male and female, there's nothing else, and it's what you're born.
Yeah, Helen, Doug Ford is a massive Trump supporter. Unwavering is the word he used, right? Like, I don't understand how he heads up any kind of negotiation against Trump when he is a massive Trump supporter.
I mean, the thing is in society, there's a group of humans that are going to look at something and say, how can I win off of this? How can I gain off of this? They're the winning team. I'm going. And I think that's exactly what Doug Ford did. Once his brother passed, Doug Ford didn't have much relevancy.
There is not only male and female. Have you not heard of intersex? There's
Also,
not only male or female. And those are
all throughout
sexes.
history, there's been three. There's male, female, and then something that's neither or in between.
Yeah.
In
And
every culture around the world.
How did these people get through their whole lives and suddenly in this past 6 years, it's been like a hot issue that they can't get over?
Because conservatives make it a talking point. Again, they find someone or a group that is some kind that's this the
They
ones
use
that they
hate and
go
fear
after.
mongering.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Okay, you agree there's 3 intersex. Fantastic. Fantastic. Look, we got you to agree with us on something today.
Propaganda.
You're talking genders. Okay? Dude, there's actually 109 recognized genders in the world right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Because when you are discounting all the other genders, you are discounting every other culture that there is in this entire world that recognizes different things. And if you are religious at all, you have to remember that Jesus was Jewish, and the Talmud actually has 8 different genders listed in it. So if you are going by the religion that Jesus went by, you are actually being anti-Jesus. This is what I get for being in religious lives.
There's also, like, in First Nations culture, majority of the languages don't use gendered pronouns. They're specifically non-binary, because Two-Spirit is such a big part of our culture, and Two-Spirited people were thought to be wiser and able to communicate with both sides. And when like the settlers first came over, it was the Two-Spirited people of our community that were sent to meet them.
I'm gonna send you a message later.
Yes, please send that message.
You just saw the other
Yeah.
message? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Pacey, I'm gonna send you a message later. Expect
and
a message.
that's a good message, right? That they sent the spirited people into welcome, the two-spirited people into welcome.
Yeah.
We're thought to generally be more level-headed and be able to see things from both sides.
I like
They
that.
were also heads of the community most of the time. And like in the States, with them preaching the rhetoric that trans is wrong, that's going against the culture of the First Nations people and their
Yeah.
beliefs.
And I just don't think it's as hot button as a topic as they would like us to believe. I'll just share my little experience in the world. I worked for the Calgary School Board for over 20 years, and I met many, many wonderful kids. I had one student in 20 years come in as transgender, and the family talked about their name and how that student needed needed like the needs that student had. And I never saw any of my students take issue with that student, have a problem with that student, anything. There was just
Like I'm
never an
concerned
issue
about Alberta because they're passing a bunch of anti-trans legislation currently,
because she
which
is terrifying.
ugh, which is going to end up killing students, especially outing children that may not have a safe home environment.
Yeah.
Is insane, because like if it hadn't been for school and me being able to come out there, and the fact that my teachers didn't out me to my father is the only reason I was able to survive and live with my dad as long as I did, because he's extremely religious, he's extremely transphobic. Him and I haven't had a relationship in almost 4 years. He kicked me out when I was 16 and I tried to rebuild, and he just kept preaching the hate and using the guise of being Christian in order to excuse it, which is wrong, because if you're a true Christian and you believe the word of Jesus, Jesus cared for everybody. Didn't matter if you were male, female, other gender, if you were a prostitute, if you were a carpenter, anything like that. As long as you were kind to somebody else and you could accept love, that you were saved.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's sad that, and I'm sorry that somebody that you loved and cared for used religion to manipulate you, because you didn't deserve that. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, sadly, it's a reality, especially up north in Ontario. There are a lot of religious, hateful people, sadly. And
You know,
I remember being jumped in the school bathroom because just after I came out, because I was trans. And it wasn't even I was trying to use the men's washroom. I was still using the girls' washroom because at that point it was the safest.
right.
And the idea too of trans women are a danger in public bathrooms, it's bullshit. I have a friend that went to a drag show, was drugged, and it had the straight male bartender attempt to assault her, and it was a gaggle of trans women that saved her.
Wow. Wow. Um, wow. It's, I remember in the 90s, I'm aging myself quite a bit now. Did anybody ever watch Ally McBeal?
I love Ally
I
McBeal.
did.
Ally McBeal had the first trans friendly bathroom. Like it was like
They had a
everybody could use
unisex.
it.
Yeah, they had a unisex
Yeah.
bathroom.
And
Yeah,
they'd
it was
all have
amazing.
conversations and visit each other in the bathroom and stuff. And I get so excited. I'm like, look, look,
I
look.
love that show so much.
Me too. Made my day. So
Yeah.
transgender or like bathrooms shouldn't be such a hard thing for people, right? Like this
No, they really
whole,
shouldn't.
it's just amazing that that's the talking point they came up and those are the fears they have.
Also, if we look at historically why there are gendered bathrooms in public, it was from when women were seen as property
Mm-hmm.
and men didn't normally have the respect of consent.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, like, because at home or most places that have one single bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
there's no problem with it. We all pee. Most people, when they go into a bathroom, unless they're a predator, just want to be able to pee in peace and leave. Like, I feel so awkward now using the men's washroom specifically because I haven't had bottom surgery. So, in most men's rooms, there's only one stall. One stall. And if it's in use, it is awkward as hell trying to stand there and wait.
Yeah. It just seems like such a dehumanizing piece, right? It's hard to wrap my brain around.
Just a reminder to the conservatives in here, if you don't want to see this face here anymore, you need to send a galaxy to anybody on the panel or Beaver Politics, and I will go to bed.
Come on, somebody
They're
make
not
this
sending it
girl
because
go
they
to
want me to get sleep
bed.
deprived. That's why. They want me to get sleep deprived.
You're funny, sleep deprived.
I'm so tired right now, but also still wide awake. Like I finished downloading. Okay, so I downloaded 3 Mistress Trash Panda videos and the first 4 videos of this already. And now I just have to put them onto my transfer them onto my computer, and then later on I can clip them. But then I'm also, so I need a visual reminder of like calendar stuff. So I have like I have a calendar that I made so that I know what times and stuff and days. Because when I'm making the events in TikTok, I forget what days the events are sometimes. Trump says Mexico what? Mexico, Canada tariffs will start March 4th, plus an additional 10% on China.
I feel like Christy was right when she did a video a couple weeks ago after he threatened tariffs the last time and then he put him off. And she said, I think he's going to keep threatening him and he's going to keep threatening him. Like it's going to be a constant thing just to keep chaos. I'm kind of wondering if she's right. I don't know the benefit of it.
I was about to say that. He just keeps saying, "Oh, I'm going to put in tariffs," and then pulling him off the table, and then, "Oh, I'm going to put in tariffs," and then pull, so that we keep talking about him all the time. And it's just like, just shut up already. Just put the tariff on, or shut up and stop it.
Have you never heard of the boy who cried wolf?
Pick one. Just pick one.
I totally agree
He's
with
the Cheeto who
PG.
cried tariff.
Yeah. Don't threaten us with a good time. The people have already responded. We've stopped buying American for the most part, or a lot of it. Like we've stopped buying a lot of American stuff, and even our stores are pulling stuff like not necessarily off the shelves, but we're putting Canadian logos on stuff that is Canadian to outline like what you should be buying and what you should be avoiding. The people
Also,
are
a lot of
already
Canadian
dealing
stores
with
are
the
moving
tariffs.
American to the bottom of the shelf.
Yeah. Someone said he's gonna make tariffs if it's liberals, and if it's conservatives, then no tariffs. And I kind of wondered actually if it's more similar to that, but more like if Doug Ford gets in, then it's, well, I'll work with Doug Ford because he's tough, and that would be the next level to getting him into the PM. Because I think that they would prefer to have Doug Ford as PM than Pierre Poilievre. I heard in conservative circles a couple of years ago they said that they knew that Pierre Poilievre was unlikable and that he probably wouldn't be able to win the PM, but that wasn't the plan for him to put him in the PM. It was more like a Doug Ford.
Pacey, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna mute you because you were scratching your mic around a lot and it was making a lot of noise.
I think Doug Ford is only called this election so that he could win it, step down to give the torch to somebody else, and then move to federal politics. PP is not going to be elected. So
Yeah.
while he's popular, he's going to move over to federal.
And I think that's why
what I think.
PP's not doing anything to push his numbers up either.
Yeah.
He's just kind of keeping him parked. He's okay to lose his numbers.
PP already has a seat with the IDU. He doesn't need to be here, right? Like he already has his position there. That's what's going on. I've read in the comments Trump derangement syndrome in there, but I'm going to maintain that Trump isn't pushing his own narrative. Trump is pushing Harper's narrative, right? Like, and this is something that is, whether it's Harper directly or just simply through the organization, right? Like it's something that he is, like they are towing the line. And Trump himself, even without the IDU, Trump himself is nothing. He's just a puppet.
Just a puppet. Just a
I
puppet.
also wanted to make the comment because Housing was saying that Trump was trying to make Canada great and save us, and that he's pushing the Liberals out. If anything, he's made the Liberal stance stronger in Canada because nobody wants to follow suit for what's going on in the States. Nobody wants to be the 51st state.
I think he's
Didn't
even
I say something like that on Mishi's live?
Yeah, I do. I think he's even turned some Maple Mega back over. Not all of them, but I definitely think there's a lot of people that are like, no, we don't want to lose Canada. We like our identity. We're good.
Yeah,
Like
and-
the Conservatives were gaining in the polls, and then he got in, and their popularity dropped.
Yeah, and even with what we're seeing, right, where on a political level, look at there's one outlier in terms of premiers when it comes to dealing with tariffs and trade, which is Danielle Smith, of course. But I mean, conservatives have come together and actually started working with the liberals. So we're actually seeing the government work better because we have seen more quote unquote unity than we have seen in, the previous 4 or 5 years, if not a bit longer now. So it's really bolstering Canada and kind of bringing politics back to where it should be on a bigger level.
Yep.
I'm laughing because Danielle Smith.
In the Oval Office. The very
I'm
weakest.
laughing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry. No, that's all I really want to say. Trump is the very weakest president to ever sit in the Oval Office.
Danielle Smith applied to be the press secretary for Trump.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. That really wouldn't surprise me at all.
It's a really Canadian panel when everybody apologizes for everybody speaking and then nobody talks afterwards. Sorry.
Uniquely Canadian.
Okay, I'm negotiating my terms here, okay? I'm negotiating my terms.
Oh.
If you send a choral, I will tell you the song that I made up about Trump, and I will go to bed. A choral.
Ooh,
That's all I want
like
is a
that.
choral. It's half the price of a galaxy. This is a steal of a deal.
Nerdy's getting tired.
And if
I'm
anybody
going to
doesn't
sing a
know,
song about Trump, and then I'm going to go to bed.
and if anybody doesn't know, Nerdy's a really good singer.
It's a choral, not a Carl, not Carl. It's choral, a choral.
Come on, guys.
Choral.
Get that choral in there. I do
Not
have to take
choral.
off. I do have to take off to start my day, but before I do, guys, I just want to reiterate: today is election day in Ontario. The whole reason for doing a 24-hour live. So anyone watching, anyone paying attention, make sure you get some coffee in you. Radical.
Morning, guys.
Hello.
Just getting off shift here. Morning, everyone.
I'm trying to get off shift.
There you go.
No,
Yeah.
we're sending
So
the
people in
choral.
Ontario, get out the vote, get out there, let your voice be heard, use the system and the power that we have as voters to change the system from within.
Yeah. Thanks, Moose.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I will be back later. Going to be going through my day here. Got a couple appointments, and of course, going to be going and voting along the way. So,
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
yeah, keep up the great work.
Somebody up on the way.
There you go. Keep up the great work, guys, and I'll see you all later.
Thanks. We appreciate you.
Bye.
Take care. So tapping is clapping and sharing is caring. It helps get us this live out there. We so appreciate everyone that's here. If anybody's wondering what we're doing, We are on 24 hours today for the Ontario Election Connection, and we are Beaver Politics. And we are here to inspire a little bit of change. We are just a few creators here. Look,
It's a coral! Yes! Yes!
do it!
I knew there was a reason why you went on your why you teacupped. Okay, here's my Trump song. Are you ready for it?
We're ready
for it. Oompa loompa tariffy 2. I've got another tariff for you. Oompa loompa tariffy 3. I'm going to bed and I have to pee.
To be fair, she's been up all night doing this, you guys.
I have.
I think you were saying that about me. I can't take credit. I didn't send it.
Wait, who sent it? Oh no, it was some dude.
I don't know.
It was totally some dude.
Thank you, some dude.
Sending that.
I can't take credit for
It
it.
was some dude.
No.
Thank you, some dude. I'm okay. Peace. I'll be back later at 6
Thank you.
o'clock.
Thanks
I'll
for
be back
all your
in
help. You're fab. Have a good sleep.
10.5 hours.
Sleep well.
I will.
Everybody, you want Charity on your team, man. Too bad she's ours, but she's amazing. Off she goes to sleep. She has been fabulous, teaching all of us Beavers how to do TikTok and sub lives and working on hitting this out of the park. We are so lucky for all the people we have on our team. We are talking today about voting in Ontario and Doug Ford. If anybody wants to come up in the comments and have a conversation, if anybody has something they want to say, feel free to unmute your mics and let's have a conversation. What do you,
This is a reminder, if you can't get out to vote on the Ontario election site, there is an option to sign up for online voting so you can make sure your voice gets heard.
and do you know where they can sign up for the online voting?
The Ontario election site.
Okay. So go to Ontario election site if you can't get out today. Shouldn't take you very long. Get on there and try to online vote if you can't make it. But if you have wheels, take a friend, get together with somebody, do something. You know, we have the power.
And if you
And I think if you show up in person and you didn't register, you can register. You need 2 pieces of ID, I think.
yes.
And they don't have to be photo, but you need 2 pieces. So don't just show up with your driver's license.
They will take a driver's license and your health card. That I learned last election. And a big thing, too, if you think that your vote isn't going to count, it then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Get out and vote. It's the only way things are going to change.
I love that. Hi, Lori. How you doing? Hi, Alberta girl. Hey, Zen. How are you? I'm glad to see you guys. We've been up last night and we've been going 24 hours. Moose started us off and we have not stopped. So out there inspiring change and hoping to get people out there. If anybody wants to talk about Ontario elections, that would be awesome. Thank you for your gifts. I really appreciate it. We are helping to grow the Beaver Dam with those gifts. So we're really stoked. And we have, if you want to donate any money to the Beaver Dam, we have a GoFundMe in our link tree. So tap on that. And we really appreciate you. And we've been trying to do a lot of work out there to get people inspired to go vote today. Go vote to get Doug Ford out. If you don't like him, go vote. That's your only opportunity to voice your opinion right now. And he's counting on the fact that you're not going to go. He wants you to stay at home. He wants you to be complaining about the snow. He wants you to just not do it. That's the plan. That's what they did in Halifax, and it worked. It worked in Nova Scotia.
And a big thing, too, if you don't know who you're voting for, check out who is running in your riding. Either A, you can go with anything but conservative and look at who is highest in the poll other than conservative and vote for them, or you can look at who is running in your riding and what their platforms are and see which one resonates best with you.
Love that.
And listen, you're not going voting because of the snow. It's a super light dusting right now. I'm going to be pretty disappointed in Canadians to not go out in this kind of like light dusting.
But that's where I come back to. Even if you don't want to go out in the snow, there's no reason you shouldn't vote. There is the capability of doing it online.
Yep.
Yeah, you can get this done. If you can get on TikTok, you can go vote.
When John wants to come up, Mrs. Radical.
Is he a friendly?
I have no idea.
I don't think he's a friendly. I think I'm gonna pass and just have friendlies on at this point. Sorry, I don't really know you, and I'm just working on affecting change right now, so I'm gonna pass on that. Yeah, no, he's on the bad news bears list. Okay, sorry, John, that's not possible. But you can stay in the chat for a bit. You're more than welcome to stay there. I'm making French toast for my boys for breakfast today. Your vote is up in the air. I do want to talk. At this point, I'm just taking friendlies, just trying to inspire the vote. I'm obviously not going to push conservatives, but I'm not going to roast somebody if that's who they want to vote for either. ABC Zen. Yep, Christy, we're up early. We have been up last night. The Moose started the live, and we have been going 24 hours. We're going to try to go 24 hours past until we get the results of the elections. So we're working hard. Thanks. It's the closest thing I can find to a beaver hat. Oh, you're supposed to be in bed, Charity. You promised. If anybody wants to come up and inspire good conversation around the Ontario election and inspire people to get out and vote, you come. It's just after 9. The polls are open. Call a friend. Drive them over. Go for a walk. Do whatever you can. Get out there and vote, vote, vote. Find out where your voting place is. If you don't have ID or if you don't have a voting card, that's okay. 2 pieces of ID. Maybe some mail with your corresponding address will get you in to vote. Yeah, the NDP had a lot of really good things to say. Sorry, Hosang, you kind of, your credibility lacks a little bit. You're not helping him. But anyways, how are you getting out to vote today? Have you voted already? Are you pre-voting? You can go onto the Ontario election site and you can actually vote there online. So there's literally no reason other than you just don't want to if you don't vote today. So let's just put that out there. Get out there, vote, vote, vote if you want to make a difference, because this is the only time you get your vote. Your vote matters. And I got to tell you, when I heard all the cuts they did to special needs and our most vulnerable, people sleeping in encampments and then police officers chasing them around, like it's just wild. Hey, Zen, why don't you come up in the chat? Why don't you come up? Yep, that's your breakfast.
All right.
I'm going to go in and try to find Zen. Where are you, Zen? Are you hiding? Do you want to come up? Zen has my heart. She and her partner work really hard in Alberta, or sorry, in Ontario. They're feeding people.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I actually slept in and I'm just starting my first coffee.
Get the Java in.
I am. I am. Oh, yes, we go out and we feed the unhoused.
And how do you do that? That's a big, like, there's a lot of unhoused people in your community. Tell us how you even start something like that.
There is. Luckily, we do have a few more boots on the ground people since we've started. So there's,
Because you inspired them.
I think there's a lot of people inspiring each other in this city. It is a city that does bring a lot of people together, and they are a very political city. So, yeah, we have some great contacts here, like a lot of really good contacts, and of course we have most of our stuff we get as donations. The other stuff is out of pocket, and yeah, we do what we can.
Wow, that's amazing and
Yeah.
inspiring. Disciple John wants to know who I should vote for and tell us why.
Well, I definitely would not vote for Ford. You can look up who's in your riding, and you can decide, read up on some stuff about them, see what they've done for your community, and then go from there. But Ford, I hear a lot of, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and it never gets done. So,
Yeah, and it's kind of wishy-washy, right?
yep.
I mean, for me, I don't know how he even got a second term considering how he treated people during COVID. The
Yeah, well,
seniors,
we all know
children.
he got that term because nobody went out and voted. So,
30% voting. Yep.
yeah.
30% voting.
And he's counting on the same thing, friends.
Mhm.
He's counting on it.
The only difference is we do not have COVID and lockdowns and all that happening right now. So pay attention.
Yeah.
Don't be distracted.
Attention. And you actually have, so what is any of the people running in any of the parties, what are they talking about for the unhoused communities then?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So NDP, Liberals, Conservatives, what are they talking about for the unhoused communities? Have they even brought it up?
Our NDP is wonderful. She is actually very much boots on the ground with our community. She gets out there. She sees what's happening, and yeah. The plan is right now. What is happening is they are building a new shelter. When, I don't know, because of course it's coming from the States. But yeah, we have a new shelter going up in our area. We have some low-income housing going up.
Why is it coming from the States?
Yeah.
Good question.
Like a tiny home village style, or is it like container homes?
It's a container, yeah.
Okay.
Right
That's
now,
interesting.
right now they have a bunch of trailers put together, kind of like, like Lego.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the bigger one will be more of, hopefully, anyways, more of a structured, because what they have now it's all right. It's still not big enough, obviously.
And the only thing that's a struggle is, will this be long-term housing or is this going to be shelter life housing? Because we know in shelter life housing,
Yeah.
most of the unhoused have a set amount of time in those shelters. There's a certain amount of standards. Not everybody flourishes in those spaces.
No, here we usually have what is a 3-month policy. If you get into a shelter, you have 3 months, as long as you're behaving. They do have programs in the shelters to help you. So if you're actually wanting to find help, they will, like, they're there. They got it.
We have known people to get housing.
Yeah, we know people that have gone from the street to the shelter to an apartment. So
Nice.
yeah, we've seen it ourselves. So it does work. It's it depends on the person. Like, unfortunately, that's where the boots on the ground people need to come in and have to talk to the unhoused and say, like, what do you want? What is it that you need right away? And of course, the first thing they always say is mental health.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Mental health is really important. And I mean, those short shelter spaces, they're just not long enough for what the people do, and they don't thrive in those spaces. Some people are walking into those shelter spaces fresh out of treatment.
Yep.
Right?
I'm just going to take a quick moment to say to disciple John, because he says he's not decided yet, but you also have to pay attention to what they say, but also what they do, right? So I understand that Doug Ford has this hat that says Canada is not for sale, but all he has done is sell off Ontario to foreign investors the entire time. Foreign investors and developer buddies, right? He's done nothing to help people who actually need it. The development that he's done has been executive homes that people can't afford, right? So only a select few people can afford those types of homes, right? And that doesn't help affordable housing at all. That doesn't do anything for the people necessarily, right? So and the science center, correct me if I'm wrong, the name of the science center, he's closed that down. He's reopening a different one at a different location. Billions of dollars in project, and what's it going to do? It's for an investor, right? Like, Ontario is paying so that a foreign investor can come in, put in a little bit of money, and own that for like 99 years.
And
doesn't make sense.
I don't think anybody in Ontario is saying that Doug Ford isn't helping, but he's not helping the people of Ontario. He's helping everybody else.
It is costing us money to build these billion-dollar places for the billionaires.
Yep. And they're good. They have enough money. They don't need our tax revenue.
His focus has been on alcohol almost the whole time, and drinking and driving has gone up ever since he's been in. I was driving on the 400 a couple of weeks ago, and at the en route, there's a big sign that says you can buy your beer here. While you're traveling, why? Why do you need to buy beer while you're traveling? Come on.
It just really sits with me whenever I hear him talking about alcohol and making it more acceptable and do it. It reminds me of Firewater and the Indigenous.
Yeah. Well, that's it, though, right? He's making he's basically saying, I'm pandering to the lower income people by giving you alcohol that's more accessible, because that's how I'm labeling you.
Yeah, but he's also giving us more problems. Just like the white man when they came with the Indigenous, and they handed them Firewater. They handed them Firewater because it would create addiction. It would stop them from growing. There's all of these different reasons why they do it. It's the same reasons Doug Ford is doing it.
And people who are numb don't generally pay as much attention.
Yeah.
They're generally more willing to take what's happening instead of fighting against it.
And they're going to be sicker, right? They're not going to be as well. They're going to have more medical problems, more this, more that. Yeah.
He ran on ending hallway medicine, right? And he's only made it worse. Like, he's literally sitting on billions of dollars of surplus and not paying nurses. And when he does pay people, he pays them more in the privatized sector to do the exact same job that he would have paid to do the job at the hospital, right? Like, see, he could have staffed those hospitals properly and paid less for those services. None of it makes sense. Where is the common sense in all of this? There is none. There is none.
None.
For anybody saying, oh, Doug Ford's the only option, does not make sense at all. All you're doing is wasting money. You are
Well,
not
unless you're
efficient.
financially benefiting from it. And I
Correct.
can see then why you would say he's the only option for you because you financially benefited from it. But if you look around, the majority haven't. Many
Nope.
people haven't. I'll bring up Justin Trudeau. You know, when Stephen Harper was in office, housing to me, permanent housing and owning a home looked like something that was completely unachievable. Completely unachievable. Under Trudeau, I have been able to buy a home.
The other option, though, housing is anybody but conservative. You have to look in the writing and see who you should be voting for in order to not have the conservative. But you're in Nova Scotia, so all you're doing is being obstructionist anyway. But at the end of the day, Doug Ford has done nothing for you. Put it to you this way. If you have not been invited to his daughter's wedding, you should vote against Doug Ford. Because you will not benefit from anything.
And that's the truth. You really won't benefit. And Doug Ford is only about it's turned into like a mafia, you know, the Conservative Party. You know, they'll pander to whoever's paying them the most. Not to whoever's paying them, but to whoever's paying them the most.
Yep.
That's who they're going to
That is
pander
definitely for sure. Another thing too, Doug Ford is the reason why we don't have rent control anymore.
Ooh, yeah.
Before it was legislated that landlords couldn't increase rent over a certain percentage and weren't supposed to charge over a certain percentage. Doug Ford got rid of that, which made it exponentially more difficult to try to find a place to live.
And you're afraid of where you're living when you get in there because you don't know if you're going to be staying.
Yeah,
or if the people that are around it, because generally the places that cost less are generally not in great parts of cities.
And typically a lot of the landlords that are operating similar to very wealthy politicians, as soon as you get in that suite, they're going to be raising your rent, whether it's legal or not. You know, as soon as you get in that suite, you have so much anxiety about losing that suite.
There's also slumlords that refuse to do anything or fix anything in apartments. The place I was at up north before I moved to the capital was terrible. There's black mold throughout the entire building, so much so that it was making me and my children extremely sick. We had severe mold poisoning, and my landlord refused to do anything about it. My bathroom had such bad mold that there were mushrooms growing out of the walls, and it took me calling the health unit 5 times and withholding 4 months worth of rent before she finally did something.
Wow.
And all she did was cut out the one piece of drywall where the mushrooms were growing, even though the mold was throughout the entire wall, and replaced it.
Wow, I had a similar experience in BC with that, and we were getting really sick and then saw the mushrooms growing out. And the rental company tried to accuse my son, who was 7 at the time, and 65 pounds, because he's autistic and he doesn't like food very much at the time. And they accused him of breaking the foundation on our driveway to the basement window, and that's how the crack happened in the concrete.
How is a child supposed to be able to do that? Like, I get that there's a thing with autism strength, because like I'm autistic and extremely strong for my size.
But he's not the Incredible Hulk.
Right.
No, like the breaking concrete, that's just not realistic.
Right? And they were only going to remove the carpet. It wasn't until the company had hired the handyman to come in and he was removing the carpet. And I kind of went downstairs and I started crying and talking to him about my daughter's health problems because my daughter has liver disease. And I just started explaining, like, I need to know if there's black mold behind those walls. So what he
because that can
what he ended up doing was saying he made a hole in the wall and he said, "Ma'am, I have to go for lunch."
It would be okay if somebody went downstairs and looked in the walls and then he left.
Yeah, my
And
old
I just want to
landlord did that multiple times.
I just want to bring up too this fear that people have now, like Happy said, with renovictions. So if you have too much happening in your apartment, the landlord could come in and say, "Okay, well, I got to renovate, so you know, I'm going to evict you because it's going to be, a lot more expensive once I'm done renovating."
Yep.
Where
And
though here in Ontario, if you have tenant insurance, they legally cannot do that.
Right.
They are legally not allowed, and they can be charged if they do so, because your tenant insurance covers if you have to stay somewhere else in order for them to do renovations normally.
And there are a lot of people, especially in our city, that live in slum conditions because they can't afford anything but to live there.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm a single parent of 3 boys. I had my first one when I was 17. Wasn't my greatest choice, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Being a young person and a parent, not having the funds to be able to get what I needed for my kids for shelter wise, especially with the rent increases. Because like I remember when I had my first son, a 2-bedroom apartment was $850 at most. That was doable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you're looking at like $2,000 to $3,000 a month plus utilities,
Right.
even for the crappiest of crappy places.
And it's a war. It's not a right left versus left war. This is a class war. They're trying to erase the middle class.
And unfortunately, in order for us to even think about affording to rent, we do need the UBI in place.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Just
Also
also
doesn't.
about what that means.
Sorry,
I
go
know
ahead.
I know we always talk about the middle class, and I know that there are a lot of people who will be like, "Well, I'm not middle class, so I don't care." Just think about what that means. If they erase the middle class and throw the middle class into poverty, where does that leave the class before the middle class? Right? So anybody who is currently living in poverty or feel like there's not enough money on a regular basis now, once they erase the middle class, never mind where you are. I don't know where you are. Buy a tent now while you can afford it, right? Like this is the only choice. If we allow for these people to continue,
Yep.
they throw everybody into poverty except for the people who they invite into their daughter's wedding.
Exactly.
Right?
100%.
So we always talk about the middle class. The politicians always talk about the middle class because they're the biggest voting base. So they always pander to at least to a certain degree on the middle class. And I think they don't talk enough about the people who aren't middle class, right? Those people are always left behind, but those people will be left further behind with conservative rule.
And it's not the super wealthy conservatives that are donating to the unhoused community and supporting them. It is the middle class that's heading out and supporting unhoused. That's who I see out there. That's who I see bringing up pots of food to the shelter and showing up to tent camps with shovels. It's not rich, wealthy people. These are people in our neighborhood that have a passion to go out and do something.
Like I'm currently in school to become a mental health and addiction specialist, and the larger majority of the population who are unhoused do have addiction, and a lot of the times it comes from the fact that it's cheaper to buy the drugs to feel warm than it is to rent a place.
Yeah. If you were unhoused, don't you think you would use? Because I honestly think I would be a user if I was unhoused.
I did. I am now 4 years sober. My
Congratulations.
addiction started when my dad kicked me out when I was 16 and living on the streets.
Right?
Looks like we missed a question down here.
Oh, where are we?
I don't know. Somebody said, "See you later." I'm going to go get my question answered somewhere else. It's the first time I saw that, so I don't know. I'm trying to scroll back. Can you, if you're still here, can you repeat the question? Because I wasn't looking, and it was from Hillary. Secret keeper?
Sometimes I don't look down on the screen. I try to be active with the chat, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'm looking back. I don't see any
Don't see it
questions.
either.
So I don't know if they got filtered or.
We shouldn't have any filters on the
Yeah,
questions.
I don't know. I don't see a
Decided to do
question.
No, but sometimes TikTok just filters stuff too,
Mhm.
because I see things that are filtered when I'm a mod sometimes, and I'm like, why was that filtered? It was like nothing. It was like,
Weird.
Yeah, they might have just been trying to get a rise. Yeah.
Well, and I had somebody else earlier when I first started, and they were saying that I wasn't going to let them in the box, and they hadn't even requested. Of course, I would let you in the box if I think that this is going to go in a decent way.
well, if you're a mod, if you're a mod and they are private, you won't see it.
Okay. Well, ask the question again, and let's see. I get filtered all the time. Someone says here.
Yeah, maybe ask the question and then put another comment saying I asked, and then we'll know if it got filtered.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we're happy to answer any questions we can. Today it's the election connections for Beaver politics, and we are here to inspire change and get people out to vote. We don't care who you vote for. Well, we kind of do, but we hope you just vote. Just get out and vote. Tapping is clapping and sharing is caring, and we appreciate all the gifts you bring to the Beaver Dam to help support us. We are working on creating community and connection and using all those funds to help build that. So we appreciate you. Am I echoing?
No? Is it me?
No, I was just double checking.
I usually have the echo.
So did you go out and do early voting then?
No, we're going this afternoon.
Excellent. Are you bringing anyone with you?
Probably my mother-in-law.
Nice, nice, nice. For the unhoused, what does voting look like in Ontario this year? Because I know in my community, it's very hard to keep your ID. Oh, do you mind? I'm going to mute you. There we go.
Yeah. I'm looking at right now our Liberal Party, who is not doing too much for the unhoused, unfortunately. But I'm looking at NDP in our area. There's a very big number of people in our area that are voting NDP this year. So
good.
We'll see.
I mean, I was really hoping I'd see more from the Liberal Party on the unhoused piece. That part I really, really wanted to see. And I'm not going to pretend that I know the answer to what it is that we need to do to fix things. And I have been very impressed with the NDP, and it's that smart voting piece, right? Smartvoting.ca, which I don't believe is open anymore, but oh, thank you for the gifts, Lori. Really appreciated.
Can I just say that it was really good to hear yesterday? I was speaking to somebody who is not on TikTok.
Thank you.
He's not on TikTok, and he was talking to me about smartvoting.ca, and I was
Get
like,
out.
Wow, that's amazing. I like that it got out.
That is
JB
awesome.
really knocked it out of the park with that one. I gotta tell you, the smart voting piece, genius. Genius.
And the model is out for the federal elections now as well. From a post I saw yesterday. Yeah, JB put a post out. I think he put it out yesterday. I saw it yesterday anyway. So whenever it was put out, I don't know. But he's saying that the federal one is out now as well. So you can go and take a look and see where you should be voting in the federal elections.
Yeah, I gotta check it out because in my area I have very little, like almost no Liberal representation. And almost all conservative, right? So yeah, I gotta check that out and see. I think I know.
Reddit? I don't go on Reddit.
I went and checked it out this morning for the smart voting, and Liberals definitely seem to have a head in comparison, like all across the country.
Yeah, I think Mark Carney really impresses people just It does sway people when you see somebody that can work with both sides.
And he has a good resume of helping countries out of financial crisis and working for the people.
I really think Karina Gould is going to keep him in check with moving further left, though, too. Like, because he was super strong in those debates. Super strong. I would even say that she probably even won those debates. And she basically brought out a whole bunch of NDP points, and I was really impressed with what she was saying. You're voting Gould? Yeah, that's good. That's good. I really think that it's going to be Mark Carney anyway, and I honestly think it should be, but I think that and for anybody who knows me knows I'm not saying this because of misogyny for me, but I think that overall we have misogyny, and I don't think we're going to elect a woman. That's unfortunately.
We do have misogyny, but I do think down the road, I think she's a bit of a political baby. But I think that she is, I like what I see from her.
Yeah.
And in
you
the
could be right.
future, I see big things for her.
I see it too, yeah.
I think Melanie Joly has a lot of political maturity. I
True.
think I wanted to see her run. And again, I was conflicted because I'm like, I want to see her run, but I don't think we're going to elect a woman. We already saw that down south. Kamala was the most qualified person there, right? Mm-hmm. And they just, nope, can't do it. So I think that maybe we're not at that point yet. We need to find a way to get there, right? But Melanie and Karina are going to have really high, super important roles to play in that cabinet, in my opinion. And I think they will hold Mark to account for sticking a little bit more to the left than what he naturally is.
Absolutely. Hello to marijuana.
Apparently I can let myself up.
I'm not. Good point. I'm not trying to sway people to vote against women. I'm not. I'm not.
No, the thing with Karina, she's very impressive. But the thing with Karina is she's not quite old enough. If she was just a couple years older, and she would probably be a really good opponent for Carney. And I really really believe that because she's got some great ideas. In the debate, she was really impressive. I haven't ever met Karina myself personally, but I've met Chrystia Freeland. Yeah. And Chrystia Freeland is not impressive to me in any way, shape, or form.
I feel like she dived on that. She did not do well.
No, she's been kind of like almost like holding Carney up, like you know what I mean. Like even in the French debate, you know, when he
Carney is her son's godfather.
Yes, I know. They're friends. They've been friends for decades, right? Which is fine. Mm-hmm. That's irrelevant because that's how you want a party to be. You want them to be working well together and be like that. But she's not personable. Like I'm talking like I met her 10 years ago in Edmonton at a women's caucus meeting, and she wasn't personable then, and she's no more personable now than she was then.
So having said all that, and knowing what Karina has said in the debate, so she took me by surprise too with a lot of what she has been involved in over the last few years, right? Like all of the stuff that she has been a part of in the changes that she's been making, right? So
Justin really helped her up with giving her the position he gave her with being host. Right?
Probably, but when we say she's not old enough,
he sees potential in her, and that's the thing with Trudeau. Like everybody thinks he's so arrogant and he's so this and that. He has held up and he has pushed people forward in front of himself in the last 9 years to show that his team is strong to begin with. That they are a team. Like he doesn't make decisions. I'm sure the PM's office and all these things that we hear, but they definitely work as a team. When the fracture started with Raybould, he brought that team back together. Mm-hmm. It was hard to bring it back together after Chrystia pulled her shut, honestly.
Yeah, I'm just saying that when we say that she's not old enough, like she was super impressive. Like she's done a lot.
Oh, I'm not saying that she's not. But when you look at the overall optics, when you're talking at overall optics with demographics in Canada, if she was if she was even 45, she's not even 40 yet. That's the demographic, right? Even Trudeau was young. He was 41 when we elected him, which had never happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you get any younger than what he was, the demographic's just not going to go for it. And they're all looking for somebody that's just a little older than Trudeau right now because they feel like he wasn't quite, you know, how they always put that forward. He wasn't up for the job. He was too young for the job. He didn't have the experience, blah, blah, blah. So now they're looking towards somebody like Carney.
And they
Somebody who's
also
got,
thought that Liberal, he was a little bit too left, right?
but he
And
did bring the party to left. He had to pander. the first term he didn't because we had a majority government, and they stayed pretty central the first 4 years. But when they lost the majority, and had to come in hand with the NDP. The party was pulled farther left than what normally they would be. Honestly, I'm not saying it was a bad thing,
no, it's
but we
not a
did
bad
have,
thing.
like I said, we have health policies and the policies in the Liberals since '97 with Chrétien for dental and pharma. So the dental and pharma wasn't a new idea the NDP threw out at the Liberals and they went, oh yeah, we got to do that. There's already policy written from 1997 in Liberal policies about
But
dental
the
and pharma.
NDP got it moving, and that's the
Well,
difference.
the
And we
reason why
have
they
to
did
give
it,
that to the
yeah,
NDP.
wholeheartedly, they got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
But again, they can't take complete victory laps for it because there's already, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's got to be. Let's say it the way it is. It was a coalition. It was a joint venture. It was something that was done together, and they should both take credit for it, not one try and take out the other. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of the finger pointing. I'm tired of the blame gaming. I'm tired of he said, she said. I just want them to go there and do their fucking jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to see Gold as deputy prime minister, honestly.
I think she has the ability. She
I don't
definitely
think we need a deputy prime minister. I think that was a new thing that we brought in because of I don't even know what. But I don't think we need a deputy prime minister. House Speaker is all we need. They don't have a deputy prime minister on the other. You know, I think that's just a ridiculous position.
Well, if they had it for Freeland, wouldn't they continue to have it, or would they just cancel it?
I think I don't know. It'll be up to whoever the leader is once they form government, if they're able to form government. Like we've got all these speculatory things that we even right now, like when we were talking about, I've got a list of people wanting to volunteer and what can we do until we have a leader, we can't do anything.
Yeah.
See, personally, I'd like to see a coalition government of the Liberals, the Greens, and the NDP because I feel like it would be the best for Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm a diehard liberal. Like I'm a diehard liberal. Like I'm probably the most liberal fucker out there. Like
I'm diehard NDP, have been since I was a kid, and fell in love with the party when Jack Layton was head. I was so sad that they lost that year.
Well, you know, the
with him
saddest part about it
passing.
is the NDP's not Jack Layton's
Don't
party anymore.
overspeak each other, please.
I wasn't doing my job if I didn't say bring back Jack Layton.
And I personally really like Jagmeet Singh because yes, he may have been a lawyer, he may have built his wealth, but he came from poverty. He was raised in social housing by a single mother, so he understands what is needed in order to help the lower and middle class.
That's where he gets me. I'm a swing voter. I used to align solely with conservatives, and when I realized how wrong I was, I decided that I could never vote again in a way that I was aligned with when. Do you know what I mean? I had to keep my mind open and clear and know all the platforms to decide. Like I feel like I could never be a football fan. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair. I know in recent years I'm leaning more towards the Green Party, specifically for the amount that they want to do for Native communities.
They're doing great. Kingmakers.
They have 3 pages that outline what they want to do to help in strengthen the ties between the Indigenous community and the government and other normal white people, which is awesome because like the NDP only have 1 paragraph. The Liberals have nothing in theirs that states about anything specifically towards Niche people. Trudeau has done a lot of work to improve, but there's also back steps that he's taken when it comes to the Indigenous people.
Can I interject there for a second? Here's something that people do not talk about, and I wish they would. With Trudeau, is he exonerated Poundmaker. And reconciliation and murder missing Indigenous women would not exist without the Liberal government. and Idle No More brought that to the forefront. So it was First Nations activists that brought us forward to where we are, pushing the government to do what they've had to do. And it should have been done 35 years ago, if not before then. But his father with the
Definitely.
white papers and everything else that were written up then were basically setting forward for reconciliation back then. But then we ended up with another goddamn conservative government. And I can't speak for First Nations people because I'm not a First Nations person, but I am married to a First Nations man, and exonerating pound maker for the Northern Cree was something that was very special, and it was done. And he was the first prime minister that had ever shook hands with a Cree chief in that area since our confederation was written.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, Trudeau has done immense of things for the Niche community, but there are also parts where he fell back on that he didn't necessarily follow through with, but he has been trying the best he can with also having his party possibly objecting to things.
I wouldn't say it was his party. It's legislation in general. There's all the parties that have to put legislation forward and vote on. The Conservatives have voted no on any legislation that was good for any Canadians, whether it be daycare, dental, pharma, First Nations, anything.
That is true. The only thing they voted all for was to take away the right to choose for reproductive rights.
That and conversion therapy and
God, that was scary.
So there's a lot of things in that. Like I said, they've got their declaration up, and First Nations are 112 on their declaration list after them removing women or trans women from sports. That's how far down the First Nations priorities are to them. So taking trans women out of sports is more important than working with First Nations on reconciliation.
See, that I don't fully understand, because like someone who's been on specifically HRT for multiple years, your muscle density and everything changes. Strength levels change, same with endurance. The main thing that makes them different.
That's not true. And again, that's why people are needing to take the therapies and the medical help that they need, so they can actually, if they're choosing to transition, they can actually suppress those issues and become into who they want to be. I don't want to discuss trans issues because right now is probably not a good time for me to do that early in the morning because I get pretty rangy. I haven't had a full coffee yet.
Drink your coffee, Tamara.
Fair, I get that. The getting pretty rangy about trans rights. I'm a trans man and have been out for 10 years, and it was almost impossible to get hormone therapy.
I've got a cousin that had to deny who he was for decades. And now he's happily married to the man that he loves. And I couldn't be happier for them, but I don't want anybody to ever feel like they cannot be who they are in our country.
And with the Conservatives, that's a daily thing. There's something wrong with you if you don't look like them.
Whether it be
We're seeing it across the country with certain conservative governments. Like in Saskatchewan, they're trying to target trans rights. In Alberta, they've already passed anti-trans legislation.
Because this was a long game. We watched when Stephen Harper was voted out of Canada unceremoniously out of the PM. We watched Stephen Harper as soon as Trump got voted in. What did Stephen Harper do? He crawled to the Trump White House. He went through the back door. And then he came out and the press caught him. And 2 weeks later, he had a news conference and he said, I alone am responsible for bringing the Trump playbook to Canada and to the Conservative Party. That's where it all started. And it has not stopped.
Polyev wouldn't have said half saying until after that. Because they weren't using that wording, that language, anything. Even Harper didn't use that kind of language. The Conservatives didn't until Trump was elected.
This was a well-played game. They've been planning this for years. Years.
Harper changed a lot of rules in Canada to make it possible to shelter some money so he could fund the organization that they're funding now. Right? That and this is one of the things I've been saying. That's not Trump speaking. That's the IDU speaking. That is all pushed to him, right?
Yes.
For that.
Harper
Yeah,
has
you're absolutely right.
so much control.
I have a meeting coming up. I'm just going to drop. Thanks for having me up. It's great
Thanks
to
for being here,
meet
PG.
everybody.
Take care.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
See you, PG. So I have to go get ready to so I can go vote. But I do want to say this. I find it very difficult that I'm I'm seeing a lot of different things out there this year, and my vote is obviously strategic, and it's to me that's sad that I'm going to have to vote strategically, but I will because I don't want PP in office. So that's the way I'm going to go. But I will say that I look forward to a future with a lot more of these people that I'm seeing in the light now, and seeing that there are people that are caring more about people in general, knowing that as Canadians, that's what's the most important. When I talk to people, it's about people and human rights.
Thank you for ending with that. I love that. Human rights and people.
I will go do my strategic voting, and I am going to hope that we do not have PP in office when I'm all done.
Oh, it's got nothing to do with
you.
Sorry,
And thank you for
Ford today, PP in the future, but yeah, today I'm getting Ford out first.
Yeah. Thank you for doing all the things. All the things you do, Zen. We really appreciate you in
You
our
know
community.
what? We love what we do, just wish it wasn't necessary, and hopefully one day it won't be.
That's right.
Right?
Never give up. Never give up.
Okay. Have a great live. I'm sure I'll be popping in later. You'll be going strong all day.
Take care. And this is the moment I'm going to shamelessly plug Beaver Politics. We are here for the Ontario Election Connection. And we are here with you. And our goal today is to inspire change, to get you out to vote, to ignore apathy, get online and vote. It's possible. If you don't have a voter card, that's not going to stop you from voting. You can take your ID, you can take your mail to your voting station, and you too will be able to vote. So we are here for you, and we are here to inspire you.
That's right. And voting is important because your voice does count. And I'll mention, because it would have changed our election here in British Columbia, the difference was 22 votes. So the BC NDP won by 22 votes. And those 22 people saved British Columbia from a conservative government.
And we had to work our asses off for that. Like, those weren't easy votes to win. People had to get out and door knock. Creators were creating news around the clock and information, putting it out there. All these people I knew were working in election booths. People really had to work hard to get that vote. It didn't just come naturally, and it was close.
I voted for a party that I normally wouldn't vote for, but we had a kind of a split here because we had a conservative that came in at the last end of it. Our incumbent was a BC Liberal, but he chose to run independently rather than running for the Conservatives. So that was a vote split right there in our community, because it just was. It was a vote split. So any of us that voted for the NDP didn't really get a blip, to be fair, because the vote was between the Conservative and the Independent. Unfortunately, our potato won. Yeah, it was a Conservative. We ended up with a potato.
And Tamara's holding him to account every day. It's beautiful. It's
I'm on his
beautiful.
I'm a jerk.
That's why we love you.
But no, I don't. I'm not going to let him. I'm not gonna let him. He had the nerve to say, "I'm her MLA, whether she likes me or not." So you know what, dude? Now you're gonna represent me, whether you like me or not.
And that's the funniest thing. He doesn't even know who he started to dance with.
He was on my friends list. On my friends list. He'd been following me for like 5 years, and all of a sudden he decided to run for the Conservatives. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing to your daughter? Like, you have daughters. Like, what are you doing? And that's when it started. It was just like, I was all over him like white on rice. Like, it was like, buddy, you're done.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I had to vote differently than I voted the last time. As I said, I'm a swing voter, so it didn't hurt too much. I definitely voted NDP and had no problems with that. Sorry, Lori, you were going to share something with us? Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
waiting for a call from the garage. I'm starting to get more comfortable doing lives. I'm so happy. However, I haven't been as implicated in Ontario elections as maybe I should have been because of the Liberal debates. I watched both the French and the English, and I stayed up late, so I was a bit tired last night. But you guys are doing great. I have to commend you. I do know the candidates. I do know that I really like Merritt Stiles so far. However, if Bonnie Crombie were to get in, I wouldn't be sorry. Or if we could take the majority away from Doug Ford because he's so arrogant and he thinks he can just do anything with Ontario, then I would be happy because at this point it doesn't look like either of them are going to win, but Bonnie is making a lot of progress.
In the Toronto area. Yeah, she's really picked up some momentum in the downtown Toronto area. But again, today's going to be the day that decides, right? And we're hoping, but you're right. Doug needs to have a definitely minority so that things could get done rather than him just deciding. And that's the same thing in Alberta. When you have a majority government, they just do what they want and there's no opposition.
100%.
It's too bad because any one of those two ladies would be good, and it would be good to have a change in Ontario. And I have convinced quite a few people to vote, to get out and vote, and they're voting NDP. That's their choice. But as long as they're ABC, I'm happy. However,
voting.ca. Have you looked at the smart voting, Lori?
It's closed.
Oh, yeah. No,
they had to close it yesterday because they were actually out. JB was on our live last night with me, and they had to shut it down. And they were asked to shut it down by Elections Canada because they can't. Because they're a media outlet, right? Yeah.
But isn't that amazing? They had that much power that they were asked that. They made that much change. The people.
No, it was because he's registered as a media outlet with his business, and he registered under his business, which is a media outlet, and all media, even today, the media cannot be promoting anything. There's no campaigning allowed. It's all blackout. So because
it's amazing to me that Elections Canada can hold JB accountable, but they can't seem to hold Pierre Poilievre accountable.
Well, he's not media. This is a media thing. This is a media blackout. It happens with any election, right?
I know, but they've been supposed to be holding Pierre Poilievre accountable for a long time, and that never happened.
Oh, I know. Well, he's had to pay fines, I think. But I mean, that's minimal. He committed election fraud. He shouldn't even be allowed to run.
Yeah,
to be fair,
that's what I'm talking about.
He should have been disqualified from being able to run in any election as a leader, anything. He should have been totally disqualified. Yeah. Why shouldn't he be, Patsy? Why do you think he shouldn't be disqualified from running when he committed election fraud?
Say goodnight to Radical.
Good night, Radical.
I gotta
Hi,
go back,
Radical.
so I can come in tonight and host tonight, so we'll see you later this afternoon after I get some food.
Oh, have a good dodo, as we say in Quebec.
Oh, I love that dodo.
Dodo, yes.
He's up all night doing his job, and he's so excited. I think him and Happy are going to join. So Happy's going to start the live this afternoon, and then when Radical's fully woken up, he's going to join in. And can I tell you, these beavers, these people I met, how lucky are we to meet these people? So passionate and so dedicated to be doing 24 hours. Holy crap, guys. I'm so impressed.
Well,
I love that I found.
Last night.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you were on till midnight?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm very thankful I found Beaver Politics. And a lot of it has to do with the Progressive Moose because I'm friends with them outside of TikTok.
Yay!
But I loved specifically Indigenous Matters because you don't hear enough, I find, about the Indigenous community anywhere in mainstream media, which sucks.
And that's our goal, is to try to kind of create a piece of media. Like, we were missing facts and honest conversations. We were starving for it, and we wanted to create this piece, but we wanted everybody to come to the table with something. So we are looking for, we've got an Indigenous piece covered, but we don't have anybody here to represent the LGBTQIA in our Beaver Dam.
And there's a lot that goes, because as much as people think that Canada is oh so progressive and great when it comes to the LGBTQIA two-spirited peoples, that's not often the case. There are some cities that are better, but when you get to more rural and remote parts, there's still a lot of hate.
We know. We tried putting rainbow crosswalks in town. I started that project 8 years ago when I first moved back. Me and another lady, she said that she'd supply the paint or buy all the paint. So we started a Facebook page to try and get momentum, to try and get rainbow sidewalks in this town. Yeah, no. It was gross.
Yeah, we did a rainbow crosswalk in front of the grocery store in the small town that both Moose and I are from. And someone came along and spray painted hate over the rainbow.
Oh my God.
And to think that a rainbow triggers somebody that much. I used to be somebody that went to church every Sunday and was on our worship team and supported everyone. And I remember starting a women's group thinking that women needed more connection. And when I started my women's group, I made my little Facebook page up and I picked a rainbow as my little emoji. And I remember getting phone calls from these Christian women yelling at me that I picked a rainbow.
What?
Oh, yeah.
But even in the Bible, the rainbow has a special meaning. So why are they getting so triggered if they believe that people hurt my brain?
I'm so thankful and grateful, though, that I had that moment. Because if I didn't have that moment, I would be still sitting in that circle. Right?
Fair.
Well, they showed you who they were.
Exactly. They showed me who I was, and they showed me that I was sitting in the wrong circle, and I did not know that in the moment.
Right? And it's sometimes it takes that for you to be in that moment where you're in a room sitting with a bunch of schmatsies and realize that you don't belong there. And that's sometimes an aha moment. And again, it's like, not for everybody, but a lot of people will have that aha moment when they're sitting in a room with people that don't align with, and it makes you feel awkward.
Yep.
It makes you feel yucky inside.
Yeah. Yeah. But the one thing that I've noticed about these kind of people is they're very consistent. And that's a good thing, actually, because we can see them consistent. So first it was a rainbow was a problem. Then I went to church and, Justin Trudeau came to our small town, our beautiful small town. And Justin Trudeau took a minute to sit down with my son and have a conversation. And we have some pictures of it. And I was just so excited. I thought it was a great moment that somebody with such stature would sit down with somebody like my son and have a conversation. And they belittled me and my son. But yet none of those people would ever take a moment to sit with my son and talk with him.
Amazing.
I love Trudeau. He was on Canada's Drag Race and did a makeover contest with them. He's also, when I was living in Sudbury, came to the Pride celebrations.
So great.
And walked with us.
Such good stuff. I just want to take a moment and welcome Octavia to our conversation. Hi, Octavia.
Yes,
how
thank
are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good. It's late right now. Surprisingly, I'm still sober.
Thanks for joining us today. Where are you from, Octavia?
I'm from Australia.
Australia.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate.
It is late there. How are things going out there? I know you guys are under attack too by the dreaded Conservatives.
Oh God, tell me about it. It sucks.
I
If
have a friend from sorry,
if the
a friend
if
that's
our
wearing a
Conservative
MAGA hat
Party,
in Australia.
oh yeah, no, people are doing that. We have like some of the most brainwashed motherfuckers on the planet, apart from the US. It is actually batshit crazy how many people in Australia are so brainwashed.
It's wild. They have just spread it everywhere. I'm just going to take a second to take a moment and say we have a half an hour left. So tapping is clapping and sharing is caring. Let's try to make this live go to 50K before Jenna gets here. Tap, tap, tap. Let's get this out there. When you're telling me, Octavia, that it's really wild out there, I'm imagining that like kind of crazy, for lack of a better word, that like pumped up Australian energy in mega. That sounds scary.
Yeah, no, like Australia, like I'd hardly call Australia a civilized country because of how racist most of the population are. Like, no, it's like absurd on how overt they can get, on how overt Australians can get, and
I
it's
remember
actually insane to me.
as a young woman, my mom telling me like different countries maybe women didn't want to live in, and Australia was on the list because they weren't very good to women.
Yeah, no, they not really.
No.
We've only very recently legalized abortion.
Wow.
And the MJ. Just barely.
And if our Conservative Party wins, because I have to get a sinus correction at some point, because I cannot sleep without nearly suffocating. Yeah, that's really fun.
Go ahead. Sorry.
If our Conservative Party wins, that might just be completely unfeasible.
What does it look like right now? Do they look like they have a hope of winning?
Between our two big parties, the Liberal Party has made themselves kind of unelectable since 2020, especially since the bushfires. Because it just proved how incompetent they were. But
So
they
then
still
are they
have
looking
a bit of a chance, which kind of scares me.
are they looking to vote conservative this round, do you think?
It's a bit early to say, but I hope not.
MAGA's down there too, though. So with that being said, they have probably a better chance of winning now because they are. Like even my friends that lived in Nimbin, they go to Mardi Gras every year, are wearing red hats.
Wow. Nicola says, hello, I voted. Have you? Good job, Nicola. Hopefully you brought somebody with a voting station, or you met someone down there, or you inspired someone. That's all we ask.
In my honest opinion, I think the red MAGA hat is pretty much the same as the bloody armband with the swastika on it. It's they're the same thing.
It is the marking. The marking
It is the same. It is the same shit, but from a different asshole.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that.
Absolutely. That's why it was so funny when Doug Ford put on his hat. I think Lori and I had a kind of back and forth when we saw the hat, and then he said how strong he was acting, so strong towards the United States, and I was like, this is all just a ruse. You know what I mean? He had to get a hat. Why do you have to get a hat to say how you feel?
I love the fact that he's wearing a number 51 jersey and thinking it matters.
Yep.
There's a creator on TikTok that has started making patches that says "Punch Nazis."
I love that.
That is a message I endorse wholeheartedly.
We're working on a merge store for Beaver Politics, and Tamara, I think we should probably look into that. Punching
that or something like
Jen.
Yeah.
Jen's a Beaver. Yeah. Jen is also on that project. Yeah, punch a Nazi. That's what we need, Jen, in the Beaver Politics store.
Yeah, that's her.
Or a T-shirt that says "The only good Nazi's a dead one."
No,
I like that.
I would love that. I saw one lady and she said punch a Nazi in the face, schmotzi in the face, and she had it on a shirt and she was going out shopping that day around town and she took a picture of her like in Lowe's and in all these different environments. I thought that was just great.
I think we should
My
have some.
grandfather, after Trump got elected, went out and bought a black baseball hat, a cap, and got my grandmother to embroider "Make America Go Away."
Oh, that's
That is
so
the only MAGA.
good.
That is the only MAGA I support.
I have a red hat and I found it at the dollar store. I think Tamara saw it. Tamara and I met working for the Liberal campaign. I was volunteering, and she was in management in that place. So, but I still have that hat, Tamara, that says Canada's already great, and it's in white and the hat is red.
Nice. Nice. I think we should, duplicate some of them, but make them in purple or different. Not purple, because that's that other color. I don't know, a
We
different
could do
color.
it in rainbow.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Ooh, that's nice.
I
I
like
Or in the
love
that.
different
that.
pride flags.
Right? Why not? Or,
We have to.
make them orange, right?
Mhm.
And have some, have some indigenous influence in them. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of things. Since we
Oh,
do have
yes.
some indigenous creators on our platform, we can ask them for input, like Jenna
Yeah.
and Treaty, and see
And
what they
we've
think.
got Jenna up here, and Jenna and Nerdy have spearheaded the merge store. Hey, Jen, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Thanks for
How is
joining
everybody?
us.
Yeah, the punch Nazis thing. I just kind
Nazis.
of woke up one day and went, "We need these," so I made them.
Genius. Genius.
Absolutely love them. And once I can
Right?
afford to, I'm buying one.
They make me
Sounds
happy.
good. Yeah, and also we've been in talks with the whole Beaver thing. We still have to have our meeting about all of that. But anything that you guys have for ideas that you want to see me do, throw them at me.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm in some kind of working order with you guys with Beaver Politics. So if you want anything in the store, again, holler at me.
Okay.
I'm
I
game.
think Nerdy was talking about doing something after this with this project, and I think Tamara wanted to join you guys with that project.
Okay, that sounds good. I know we haven't had much time. Nerdy's been pretty busy to have the meeting to discuss all of the other stuff. So
It's hard when you're such a superstar. You guys are just moving and moving and moving.
right?
We're building
We'll get
this
there at
beaver
some point,
dam.
though. Yes. Yeah, I'm super excited. I almost jumped out of my chair when you messaged me and asked, and I'm like, yeah, of course
Really?
I do.
I've
Oh,
just
yeah.
been trying to find like the perfect spot for each person like in our community, you know what I mean, where we're gonna shine.
Right.
And then
Yep.
talk to them about joining those spots, right? We're so
Yeah,
lucky
no.
though, that we have such a rich group of individuals.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely amazing. I was beaming a little bit inside. I'll be honest about that.
Oh, thank you. And I'll just take a moment again. We're at 39K. We're working towards 50K, and I don't have much time. So tap, 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 tap. It's 8:45, and Jenna's coming at 9, and she's taking over from me. And we have been going 24 hours. We are here to inspire change for the Ontario election and kick apathy out the door. So thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate you. What has something that Doug Ford has done that has helped the people of Ontario? Does anybody have anything on that?
I can't honestly think of anything. Living in Ontario, things have gradually gotten worse the last 7 years. And he reduced the amount of money that gets given to OHIP to cover surgeries that are needed. Like for my top surgery, I have to travel outside of province to get it done because OHIP doesn't pay enough to cover the contouring of my chest to make it look masculine.
Wow.
So I'd be paying $6,000 out of pocket.
Wow, that's brutal. I just went and had an MRI done 2 weeks ago on my back. I'm on a leave from my job for my back, and
That was free, 100% free. Walked in, paid for it. I was in actually in 2 days after they ordered the MRI, by the way.
Yeah, Owen's in having a colonoscopy this morning. They ordered it less than 6 weeks ago. He went in and actually had one. Couldn't get all the polyps out, so he's back 6 weeks later having another surgery.
Oh,
And
he's in.
but in 1991, did you realize that BC had an abundance of doctors, and that's why there was a surplus of doctors in 1991, and that's why they weren't being paid because there was a surplus, and that's why we lost a lot of doctors, and that started in the 90s. Why a lot of them defected. But I found an article yesterday when I was doing this about 1991, how we had too many doctors in British Columbia. Now we count too many? What? But yeah, we had too many doctors and they defected.
Wow. And
How can you
I
have
mean, we've
too
got
many, though?
doctors coming this way down from Alberta looking to get out of there.
Oh, I know. And
Can I
doctors
just
leaving.
question? Sorry, I
Go ahead.
question: how can you possibly have too many doctors?
I don't know, but we had too many doctors per capita, right? And I guess a lot of them couldn't find work, or they weren't being paid enough because the province, there were so many of them that the province didn't have to pay them because they were a dime a dozen. Like I said, I wasn't aware. I knew in '92 that there was a problem with in Alberta with the doctors not feeling that they were being paid enough, and the nurses were on strike, and the U.S. offered them exuberant amounts of money to be paid in U.S. dollars down in Texas because they were screaming for nurses in Texas and everything else. And a lot of the doctors and nurses fled. They left and went to the States. My husband's got a friend's mom that left. My OBGYN left 2 weeks before my daughter was due. Specialty doctors, because they could go to a private clinic in the U.S. and be paid 3 times what they were being paid in Canada in U.S. dollars.
I saw a show while I was watching the National the other night. And look, I didn't fact check this, but I believe it's true. BC is really leading the charge, though, on attracting doctors, and they've increased the annual salary for doctors substantially. So that's really helping draw them in. And they're also pushing for the out of country professionals to get certified quicker, as well as nurse practitioners, because they're very effective and they, for minor things, can really take the place of doctors to help reduce the workloads. I was really impressed with what BC is doing because my province, I live in Quebec, Ontario, I really do, has cut 1,000 healthcare positions in the last month. And I am so angry about that, just to cut the deficit. I just want to take a moment to thank Beaver Politics for doing this. Even though I'm not voting, I can't vote. I'm just as much invested in this election as anyone else. And it's been a pleasure hearing from Octavia and Pasty Native because I haven't heard them speak before. I have a cousin in New Zealand, and it's amazing how knowledgeable he is on North American politics and how he's the one who makes posts about what's going on here against MAGA. So I'm really proud to say that we really are a small world. That's my spiel. I'm still waiting for the crash to call.
Thank you so much, Lori. I just appreciate your voice. I know a long time ago it wasn't always comfortable for you to get up in these boxes, but you have just knocked it out of the park, and I thank you so much for your voice. It's so valuable.
I wanted to pop in there about the BC doctors situation. There's a huge issue with it. We have incentives to bring them in, but remote communities like myself and a couple others in this group get 3-year contracts. That's all we have. So they bring them in for 3 years and then they leave. And it's frustrating.
I think most positions in medicine should be like a 10-year thing. So unless you're uniquely bad at your job, you shouldn't be laid off for anything unless like you're uniquely bad at your job.
Well, this isn't being laid off. It's they stay for
Or like
3
contracts
years and
expiring.
then yeah, they go to other towns that are bigger like Vancouver or Prince George or the island or even other provinces, right? So
I think that's just a
most of
contract that
some
they have to sign. If they're able to come into the community to work, they have to sign a 3-year contract. Or I think it's like depending on depending on the town. Because we've got a
yeah,
couple
ours
coming
is 3 where I
like
am.
7.
Well, and the one doctor that I had that left Alberta, that initiated all of the lung stuff with COVID and everything, he told me when he came back to cover the doctor that I had after we moved up here, because he retired, he said it's up to the community to decide, or the board to decide if I stay. And I looked at him and I said, well, we really need you because they're all dropping right now. Everybody's either leaving or retiring. Most of them were from Africa and other countries too, right? Like, we need them to come and stay. And he's like, well, I'm going to try and do what I can. And then he told me, he's like, oh, well, I've come back. And then Danielle Smith went and opened her gap about privatized healthcare. And he wasn't even back 3 months, I think, and he was leaving to go to Alberta.
Yeah.
She's driving, like she's inspiring people with money to get out there, but they get out there and then they're leaving and coming back.
Yeah.
Not very happy with the quality there. I'd just like to take a moment and say hello to Perry. How are you, Perry? Perry's a strong silent type.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I actually just woke up. I haven't even had coffee yet, so I just wanted to jump on real quick and say my hat's off to all the Beaver politics that did this 24-hour. It's pretty cool to see.
Thank you. We really appreciate you and all the work you and your wife have been doing to help support Beaver politics. If you don't know, Perry's wife is on Indigenous Matters, and she's Treaty 6 birder and an amazing, amazing force on Beaver politics. We're so lucky to have them. Yeah, we are excited to be doing what we're doing. I've got like 6 minutes left. How did this 3 hours roll by so fast? I have 6 minutes. Sorry, go ahead.
It goes so fast. It was like, whoop, it's over. What?
Octavia?
I like to. You have to be Canadian to be part of Beaver politics or something.
No, if you just go up to the top and you add yourself to our Beaver Politics group, we are 7 nights a week. We have different creators across Canada working together to do lives, create content. We are working on creating change in our own small way.
So where do I press? Sorry, I've never done this.
If you can go up to the top, I think, and it's a Beaver Politics in the Heart and the Square, I think you can tap it and then you can follow it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can see us every night. And we have afternoon shows. And wouldn't you like to be a Beaver too? And if you do, give us a shout. We have more spots available. Our only rules are you have to be uniquely Canadian. You have to tell the truth.
You can also subscribe.
Yes.
And you get live notifications
Thank
and
you.
all sorts of awesomeness.
Subscribing's key. And the beautiful part is about our channel is you're not just seeing one person. You're not just seeing my ugly mug all the time. We have different creators with different niches and different kinds of conversations. And when you go to the Beaver Politics page, we have them pinned up our times as well, when you can join us as well. So we are here 24 hours today. We are going into the end of the night and we are here. Jenna's up right behind me and she's going to be up for a really good discussion. You guys are going to love her. Can't even wait. Any final questions for me?
Not particularly.
Well, I'm really glad you came up.
Don't we have YouTube to subscribe to as well?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel if you miss any shows. It's fabulous to go back and look at. You can subscribe and become a Beaver. And we also have a Discord channel that we're on.
where we're planning and organizing. So you can get on Discord too and join us and join the Beaver Beaver Dam. We also have a link in the link tree for a GoFundMe. So if you're interested in supporting Beaver politics and us helping grow our dam, please do. We're there and we're trying to create community with that dam. So thank you so much for all of your support. Did I miss anything, Tamara?
No, I think you got it covered. You did great, as always.
Usually I don't. I usually only do 1.5 hour lives, so pushing myself to 3 hours is a little bit of a push, but I love it, and just so thankful for all of these people that have showed up in our community to try to make a difference. Like, wow, it's amazing.
Well, I did 6 hours of social media yesterday with my show first, and then another 3 hours last night. So, yeah, it's good though. It's making, education, right? Education is the key to power. Education is the only thing that gives us the ability to make critical choices in our lives. So that's what it's all about, right?
And it's not even a classic communication education. You don't need a degree. We just need to talk and share the information. We don't want to be gatekeepers. We want to share it.
Literally just need discourse.
Did you want
That's
50K? You just got 50K, lady.
Woohoo! Thank you. And you're right, Octavia. It's the discourse.
It's literally all there is to it.
Be willing to have those conversations.
Yeah, it's unfortunately there are a lot of people that aren't willing to have that conversation, and those people are usually invested in the mainstream media.
Yeah, well,
large corporations.
I mean, I grew up being told not to talk about politics, religion, or money. And I think that was an absolute disservice to us. I think we should always be talking about politics, religion, and money.
Definitely agree with that.
When it comes to talking about politics, religion, or money, just don't do it when you're drunk.
Good point.
Yeah, that'll go down a couple of rabbit holes, and I don't think you want to go down.
But we've been taught all our lives to do it with compassion and feel about how other people, other people's opinions, and try and bring community together. We wouldn't be afraid to talk about these things, and we wouldn't have to worry about whether we were drunk or not doing it. It would just be something that was normal that we did, that we could have conversations like that and not have it turn into a brawl.
Yeah.
And on that note, I have to say goodbye. It is our beautiful Jenna's turn next. Feel free to tune in. She'll be up right away. Thank you so very much for joining me and help creating change on Beaver Politics. Have a great day.
Thanks for having me up.